Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Say again.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's go. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another episode of LTMB Live. Let the madness begin. I'm Will Gaylord.
And I'm Mike White.
Thank you for being here, everybody. We are back at it once again. We did miss Tuesday's broadcast, and let me apologize once again for that. We hate missing broadcasts. Can't stand it because this is what we love to do, give our take on whatever issues that are relevant in the news and in the world. And to miss a broadcast when we only do 2 a week, I just can't stand that. So yeah, we do apologize for that. And it was some unforeseen events. For me, it was because of some moving. Man, I was hemmed up, man. I helped a friend move, and my whole body took the brunt of it, man. I was laid up all day.
And it was like, didn't you have to move some like real heavy stuff?
Real heavy stuff,
Yeah,
like
man.
some music, some organs, some big organs and stuff. Though I mean, it was.
He's a music folks. Man.
Yeah, man. I never experienced something like that before, though. Not soreness like that after a move. Never like that, man. I remember one of our friends, Juan. He had I don't know if you saw him, but back in the day, he had gone a long time without working out, and he finally did, but went real hard. And the next day, he was sitting there like this, couldn't move his arms, couldn't put him down, couldn't do anything. This was back in like 2000, I think it was.
Dang.
Yeah, because we were living together at that time, and I remember I went to work that morning, and I was like, all right, man.
He couldn't
do nothing, man. He just looked at me. I was like, oh, my bad, man. But I did it on purpose. Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, we're back. Like I said, we've had some situations. Mike's had his, and he'll get to a little bit about that towards the end of the show. Yeah, we're thankful to be here. Let's see who's in it. Let's bring Facebook into the mix as well. All right. What's going on, Facebook? How's everybody doing?
What's happening, Facebook?
Welcome to LTMB Live. Let the madness begin. I don't think anybody's in here yet. It takes a little bit, but we're here. We're back. Sorry for missing the Tuesday broadcast, but we said we'd be here for Thursday, and we are here. Let's see how YouTube's doing. Yeah, YouTube, we got a few people in here. Right. I know it's the holiday season as well.
For real, man. I'm telling you, man. The traffic is crazy.
Really?
The traffic is crazy. It's not even. It's weird because it's not. It's not like the rush hour is bad.
Yeah.
Like as far as like people coming and going to work. What's bad is actually the shopping areas. So it's not like the actual the traffic is actually pretty good on rush hour. It's just been diverted somewhere else. It's like everywhere there like where the shopping areas are. And it's all times of the day. So it don't even matter what time of day you go. You're gonna be sitting in traffic. I mean, you do it enough times, and you start to have to like develop little tricks and strategies. I don't even go up in the mall. I don't even go in the mall parking lot anymore.
Oh no, because you be in there for like an hour.
One time I took my sister like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it took me like this was some years ago, but it took me an hour to get out of that mall circle.
It's a circle. Yeah. Most malls have like a little road going around it. Yeah. And what I did was I parked in one of the like little the satellite stores. Because you know how they have like satellites around the mall, other retail stores.
Right.
I parked at one of those and walked over.
That's smart.
And walked over.
See, that was smart.
Walked over. I was like,
might take you about a good 5 minutes to walk to the car.
Yeah, but
it ain't gonna take you an hour to get out.
Nope, I ain't got time for that, dog.
I don't go like I used to like the day before Christmas Eve, like the 23rd. That used to be my shopping time. I mean, I would wait until that time to get out there. And for the last few years, I haven't done it now.
So, about the last minute, you already?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I used to be last minute but see, like there's a difference in being last minute and knowing what you're going to get.
True.
And like knowing what you're looking for, and then being last minute,
being like wide open, like I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
That's a bit different. You know what I'm saying? I've been in both situations.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be in a situation where I know.
Oh yeah. If you don't know what you're doing on the 24th. That's gonna be a bad situation, man. A real bad situation. So we got a few people in here. We started a little bit late too, but we're gonna go. So let's get to the news. All right. So of course, priorities first. President Trump and the Republicans secured their first win of this year, 2017, and it seems like they did pass tax reform. They passed the bill. It passed the House. It passed the Senate. Actually, the House had to re-vote on it because of a few things, but they re-voted on it, passed it again. So it's expected to get to Donald Trump's desk if it hasn't already, and he's going to sign it, and it's going to be signed into law.
Well, if you think about it, like he had to get a win though, because I mean he boasted about what he was going to get done the first day. After 100 days, we're now like on the 330.
I know, right?
6th, whatever. I think we're in the 330s.
Yeah,
we're that far in, and he needs at least one win or something that he considers
something significant.
Because something significant.
Yeah, and he hadn't got that yet.
He hadn't really got that yet. He hadn't got like I guess a marquee legislation.
Right.
He's been doing stuff.
Yeah,
like with environmental protection.
Doing too much.
Yeah. He's been doing like trying to I guess withdraw a lot of the regulations in regard to environmental protection.
He's been trying to roll back Obama era type thing. Anything Obama.
So he's been kind of like chipping away doing things, but he doesn't have that like marquee legislation that everybody looks to show some sort of like progress. So this is his little win, something he could just like
a big W, man. Don't put it. You said little win, man. Put that big W in the column, man.
Well, maybe I say that because I'm talking about Trump.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just a dig at like his boastfulness.
Yeah, the blustering and all
I think he had to get something on the table. Like I said, it may be a win for him, but it's obviously not going to. I can't say obviously, but it's most likely not going to be a win for American people.
Right, for the most of the American people. Did you see this event yesterday with all the Republicans in front of the White House? How they all grouped together and all the how they were so effusive with their praise for Donald Trump. Without Donald Trump, we couldn't have got this done, and they're clapping for him. Like, where are we living at?
It's almost like. The way they were acting, it was like, especially unto Donald Trump, it was like he being potty trained. You know, it's like, yo, yeah, you did it.
I know.
It was like, I'm not trying to take any credit away from him, and because a lot of times we always like to have tunnel vision and just use who is ever the most visible person,
right? And
Trump ain't do shit. This is the Republicans.
This has been something that Republicans in Congress have been wanting to get done for years. For years and years and years. It's been a long time goal. It's been his career goal. The Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. It's been his career goal, right? To do something about the taxes, right? To slash the corporate tax rate.
Slash the corporate tax rate. And if you look at like to say the comments made by Mitt Romney, he loves this bill. Yeah. And if you listen to like his rhetoric throughout the campaign, it was that typical Republican rhetoric, like corporations are people, you know, minimum wage is too high. You know, his I guess his business model was gutting businesses, buying them, selling. So he loves stuff like this. So when people like Mitt Romney love this tax bill, and Mitt Romney ran how many years ago?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean,
this is not something new.
So if we know that it's not a Trump thing, it's an entire Republican. Why the effusive praise for Donald Trump? It looked like Kim Jong-un was up there, you know. This looked like North Korea, man. Donald Trump, our leader. Like, come on, man. Like, really, he needs that? We know he needs it. The only thing
they were missing was like a big fat sucker.
Yeah.
You know, the big fat swirly suckers.
I know, right?
Like, you know what I'm saying? A sucker in the bloom.
It was a pathetic show.
I wanted him to ride off on a tricycle. Really.
It's pathetic, man. But that's where we're living in 2017 with Donald Trump as our president, man. He needs that, and he probably put the bug in their ear, like, yo, when y'all get out front the cameras, out front of the White House,
I need y'all to lick my booty hole.
Exactly.
Like,
I need all this praise. You need to say something about me. If not for the striking leadership of one Donald Trump, we couldn't have got that. Please, man, come on. All you needed was a supermajority. And actually, that's all you needed.
That's all you needed was supermajority. And like, if you just even look at Trump's tweets, because he's had a lot of opportunity to tweet about this, and he's had more characters to use, he hasn't really had any substantive, I guess, input in regards to specifics about this tax reform bill, other than just like, it's the greatest and Democrats are against it, sad. This typical rhetoric. He hasn't really had a lot of insightful input at all. He hasn't really had a lot to say as far as like policy wise, just that it's good and it's great.
It's just been blustering.
So I don't it doesn't even make sense to even give Trump credit for it. And so actually I'm gonna be both ways. I'm not going to give him credit for it, nor am I going to somehow put this all on him when it fails either. I'm going to do it both ways.
Right. It's not just on Trump. It's on, because none of the Democrats voted for this thing. None of the Democrats did. It was all a Republican thing. So yeah, it's not going to be just on Trump when, and I say when because I believe when it does fail. But yeah, it's not going to be just about Trump. So let's look at some of the things that are in this bill now that are going to be a reality. Just to point out, this is not going to go into effect by the time you file your taxes early next year. It's not going to go into effect.
The bill's not even signed yet.
No, it's not even signed. Pen's not wet. I mean, the ink is not wet, or it's not dry. It's not even signed yet. So it's going to go into effect for next year's taxes. So it's not going to be something that you're going to be worried about until 2019, at least most people. So the new brackets it's still going to be 7 brackets. They're going to be 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, 37. I believe the highest bracket before was 39, or I think it was 39 and a half actually. The standard deduction has nearly doubled. For single, standard deduction was increased from $6,350 to $12,000. For married couples filing jointly, it's been increased from $12,700 to $24,000. So that's for some people that's going to be good, but then if you mix in the fact that you're not going to be. I mean, there's not going to be itemization.
Yeah, they doubled the standard deduction, but they took away personal exemption. So they're kind of the bill is written so that people can't itemize anymore. So it's basically they're just like talking about what everybody's going to be getting, but then not mentioning
taking away
all the stuff that's getting taken away.
Like you said, the personal exemption. You can't deduct moving expenses anymore. Tax preparation fees. The state and local tax deduction, that has been an obvious controversy, something that has been debated on. People in states like New York and California, even Texas, those high property value states, they have not wanted that deduction to go away. It didn't go away, but it has a cap of $10,000. So people are still going to be paying more taxes because of that.
Interesting how like anything that kind of diminishes the ability for the middle class, I guess economically, there's anything that improved the life of the middle class, there's a cap. But when it comes to tax cuts for corporations, they want that limitless. They want it, not only do they want it limitless, they want it to be in stone forever. Right.
Yeah. Oh, and if we're talking about that, let's talk about the estate tax, right? Right. So they wanted the estate tax repeal. They didn't get that done, right? But in effect, they actually did.
Yeah.
So what they did was the amount of money that was exempt from the estate tax is now doubled. So this means virtually everybody is exempt from the estate tax.
So it's like not an official repeal.
It's not officially.
It's a skinny repeal.
Yeah, it's a skinny repeal. Like I said, virtually everybody will not be subject to this tax.
So by doubling the amount, they essentially make it to where like less and less people are going to be affected by it.
Yes.
I was listening to something. They were going state by state. They were going state by state, and like they were I guess going over the number of people or number of people who would be affected by the state tax. It was like basically they're going state by state. Obviously, the most populated states are going to have a higher number, but it was like you can count them on two hands. Like going state from state, you can count them on one hand in certain states, like two hands, maybe a few hands, and another. It was like basically dots.
See,
on the map. And tiny little dots.
And talking about this before, I said that look, like the overall, like we're talking about this issue, I don't really have a feeling about it. It just in a vacuum, I don't really have a feeling about it. If you really wanted to do this for these wealthy people, okay, but see, don't try to do that ahead of trying to help the middle class and poor people. No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I'm totally against it if you're not helping the middle class and poor people.
It doesn't make sense because, like, essentially, the foundation of the economy is in the middle, not at the top. So it actually doesn't even make sense to help the upper crust first. No, it doesn't make sense to help corporations first because
they're already doing well.
They're already doing well, and you kind of have to look at what galvanizes corporate profits in the first place. Now, when I say corporate profits, I'm talking about like the demand for their services, and that's the middle class. Now, we're talking about galvanizing their profits. We know their stock value does that, and then buying and selling own stock. That's where the real value comes in. But as far as like what causes the economy to turn is the middle class.
Yes, so because the middle class is one that spends the money, gets out there and helps that economy move.
So pretty much, like you said, why help?
Why the effort? Why this massive effort to help? The top echelon of people.
Why the redistribution of wealth?
Oh, because that's what it is.
What?
That's what it is. Didn't they argue against that during the Obama era?
They've argued against that since before the Obama era.
Redistribution
but this
of wealth,
redistribution of wealth is good for America, right?
Actually, if we're being serious about it, the redistribution of wealth has been going on since, I believe, the 60s? Because that's when corporations and companies started paying less money in taxes. And who started footing that bill? It was that middle class. It was the average taxpayer. So that was a massive redistribution of wealth, but nobody wants to talk about that, especially not the Republicans.
I mean, do you feel this this massive handout will disincentivize corporations from contributing their fair share to society? You know?
Okay, because another part that of course we've talked about, they're going to slash that corporate tax rate. Now it's not going to go to 20%. It's going to go to 21%. Oh, that's now we're good with it. Now we're good with it. They they upped it 1%, 21%. Okay, so again, we have to point out that there's large corporations like Wells Fargo, like Walmart, some others that have a negative tax burden, right? That get a rebate check. Okay, there's others, and okay, so the tax rate, it was 35%. It's going down to 21. Again, we have to point out that hardly anyone paid that 35%. The effective tax rate was 18.6%. There's so many loopholes, so many things to take advantage of.
Yeah, like one loophole that a lot of these corporations take advantage of is when states offer like tax incentives for them to come. They'll be like, hey, you can get either this low rate on taxes or no taxes at all for the first year, or for the first 5 years you're here, to incentivize them moving I guess their base or their offices to that state or their business. So what they'll do is they'll move it and they wait that however long that period is where they get a low tax rate or no taxes at all. They'll wait 1 year, 5 years, and then when it's up, they'll move again to avoid the taxes. So it's like a little shell game. So even when there is the likelihood of them paying future taxes, they will avoid it.
Yeah, and
that's to me that's fraud.
It smells dirty.
It smells dirty. It feels dirty.
Yeah, everything about it smells dirty, right? But anyway, that's what's going to be done. And so that effective tax rate that we talked about, 18.6, that's not going to be anymore. If it's getting slashed to 21%, but the effective tax rate will probably go down to single digits, maybe something like that, because they're not removing any loopholes or anything like that.
No,
corporations are going to still have all these benefits.
So they've had all these benefits, and they've had all these loopholes, and they've had the benefit of sitting on stacks on stacks of money without, I guess, putting that money into developing their company and paying fair wages. I'm just trying to figure out what is going to prompt them to do it now. Like what all of a sudden is going to give them a change of heart?
Well, the Republicans feel like the companies are now going to start handing out money to their employees. All right, they're going to be raising wages. They're going to reinvest in the company. They're going to do all these good things for the good of the country, for the good of the average American employee. So upon this news that this tax reform bill did pass, some corporations did come out and say that, yeah, you know what, we're going to do some things. We're going to give out bonuses and raise wages. We're going to reinvest, because we're all for this tax reform. We're all for this slashing of the corporate tax rate. And Donald Trump even said something about that in a tweet that he released. I believe it was early on Thursday morning. He said, companies are already making big payments to workers. Dems want to raise taxes, hate these big cuts. So again, like there's been, that's a lot of companies are already making big payments.
Tax this bill is not actually effective yet.
Not effective yet.
They're already making big payments.
I don't know
but
where
why
you're going.
Boasting about that? And I think we talked about
that would have
we talked about this earlier, but this is the same dude that said minimum wage was too high. So why is he boasting that he's first of all he's lying? But I'm saying why would he be boasting about something he was against in the first place?
And what would that have to do with this bill too? Because this bill has not even taken effect yet. But anyway, upon news that it did pass, some corporations came out like Comcast, AT&T, Wells Fargo, Fifth Third Bancorp, saying that they're gonna do these things. They're gonna increase wages or hand out bonuses and things like that. Wells Fargo and Fifth Third Bancorp said that they're gonna raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Okay, Finally. Okay, sure. AT&T, Boeing, Comcast said that they were going to give out bonuses, about $1,000 in bonuses.
Wait a second. What time of year are we in? Will?
This is the 12th month of the year.
12th month of the year. What's going on? What's going on in the 12th month of the year usually?
By my calculation,
about around this time.
We're about 4 days away from the 25th.
Ah, okay. So,
which is Christmas.
So companies tend to do what around this time? They do what?
Large corporate, like large companies, corporations, they usually hand out bonuses. Christmas bonuses. Like that, those two words together, Christmas bonuses, like that's a term.
Yeah. But let's just say it happens to not be. Let's just say it happens to not be.
Okay, so let's just take them at their word that this is actually tied to what's coming. Like in the tax reform,
like nothing as it seems, saying is like they use the term profit sharing, but it is giving $1,000 one time really an illustration of profit sharing?
No, because think about how much they're going to be raking in. Think about how much these corporations are going to be raking in because of the slash in the corporate tax rate. Is paying your workers a one-time bonus of $1,000 going to be anything? Is that going to make my situation much better going forward if I have $1,000 extra like right now? Especially during Christmas time.
That actually seems like a buy off.
It does seem like
a buy off as they're making out like bandits in the long run. Like yo, just take this for right now.
The only way
take this for right now.
I know.
I mean, you
like here, be happy with this.
I mean, it's
the only way that this would really be something significant is if the one-time payment was something very, very hefty, like a very, very large sum that would actually kind of change my life. But of course they wouldn't do that, because then that worker might rethink where they're working.
Because if you think about it, I mean, remember Bush did it twice technically. It wasn't done using the same process, but didn't he like give out some the little government checks twice? And like I think if you were single, you got $300, and if you had, it was maxed out at $600. But if you got if you had kids, you got $600. And he did it twice, so that's $1,200. Now, obviously, he didn't give that money out using this process, but like nonetheless, it was some sort of handout.
It was a handout.
It was a handout.
It was to stimulate the economy.
I mean, so. But
what
happened later though? What happened later? What happened in 2006, 2007, 2008? What happened?
You talking about the crisis? Are you talking about the financial crisis? So how many situations did this improve? This stimulus, this stimulating the economy process by George W. Bush. It didn't help a lot, did it? It might have helped temporarily. But I'm talking about going forward. Like, are you creating an environment where people are going to have better outcomes now? No, you didn't. Like you said, it was like a payoff.
But hey, some people, I don't know. There are some people out there that think this is going to work. Like, we have, Michael, one of our favorite, viewers.
Yeah.
He thinks that's how the economy works, is trickle down. That's how he thinks it works. But I mean, I guess he likes being trickled on. I don't like being trickled on. Do you like being trickled on?
No, I don't.
Some people like being trickled on. We don't. That's really not how the. And if you're saying that that's how the economy works, that might be a true statement. That's how the economy works. That's how it has worked. But that doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like it's successful. Like
if
the goal is to uplift the middle class, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. If that's the goal, then it doesn't work. Now, if the goal is to make corporations richer, then of course it works. You might be right, Michael. You just might be right.
Just eye to behold it. Like it depends on your vantage point, or like what you want to get done.
I mean,
what's your definition of work?
And people also ask, like, well, what would be a good tax rate? That's actually the wrong question. It's not about what what the tax rate should be is about what is done with taxes and how taxes are used, I guess, to undergird and to supplement our infrastructure.
Right.
That's what it's about. It's not just about like what's the right rate. It's not. That's the wrong question.
Right. Right. Like it's not like it's not so much that we're saying that the corporate rate shouldn't be slashed to 21%. It's not. It's like that's not even the argument we're making. It's we're making the argument that so much more is being done for the wealthy, for these wealthy corporations, than is being done for the middle class, poor people. So what you're going to do is you're just going to increase that income disparity that we have here. It's not going to make the situation any better.
And this is only kind of like one arm of it. We can talk about like we can talk about it in regard to taxes, but like what about the, I guess, the dissolving of like a worker's rights?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what about deregulation? Like what about all that? Like all that is coupled in, you know, with I guess the favors that corporations get. Like this whole tax thing is only like part of it. You know what I'm saying? So if they're getting all those other things, deregulation, whether it be financial deregulation or deregulation in regards to not having to adhere to environmental regulations, if they are constantly dissolving, I guess, people's ability to bargain, and now you got this taxes, like you know what I'm saying? There's a history here. There's a history of corporations always getting the upper hand in every area. So this tax thing is only just kind of like one area.
And another part of this bill is that the ACA mandate, the Obamacare mandate, is going to be repealed. Now, if you ask Trump thinks that means that Obamacare
is gone.
has been repealed also. Now, he was speaking to reporters at the White House on Wednesday, and that's actually what he said. He said that Obamacare has been repealed under this tax reform legislation. Bruh. It hasn't. It really has. I know you have tried to get that done at least three times this year.
But what did he interpret? Like what in this tax bill did he interpret that caused him to kind of go there and reach that conclusion?
Well, he's thinking that, you know, because the mandate has been repealed, people won't be forced to have health care insurance. People won't be forced to take an Obamacare insurance plan. So that means it go.
Yay! People won't be forced to have discounted insurance. Yay! That means people can just pay like $300 or $400 a month for basic care.
Oh, but he said that they will be coming up with something new, something better. But this is what we've heard for years.
Wait.
He said that they're gonna be coming up with something better.
I think I want to say I was just on the exchanges like a couple weeks ago. Like I was on the exchanges still exist, right?
The exchanges still exist.
So
Obamacare is still here. The ACA is still in effect because they haven't been able to repeal it.
So what was I on? Was I on like a bootleg? Was I on a?
You're probably on the official shit.
I wasn't on the on like the bootleg.
Nah, you ain't get got. You ain't get got. No, it's still here. It's still here.
I wasn't on the bootleg network.
No, but see what he's no, ain't no bootleg, man. But see what he's saying is that it's gone. So really, the consequence of this happening is that yes, people will not be penalized for not having coverage anymore. Okay, but that is not taking place right now. It's going to be really year 2019 where this is going to be relevant.
A lot of people were exempt from the penalty anyway.
Yeah, they did because of hardships or whatever like that, right? Income, whatever. But what this is going to do is that, like I said, you won't be penalized for not having a qualified plan, a qualified ACA plan. But what this will also do is this will have people say, okay, well, I don't need insurance. I'm not going to get insurance. The consequence of that happening is that premiums will rise. They were already rising. And you think with less people in the plans that premiums won't rise? Of course they're going to rise.
That's how like insurance works. That's how insurance remains. Like I guess the insurance,
more
not
people.
just the business, but that's how the rates remain. I guess standard. That's how the rates remain. Like don't fluctuate so much.
Yeah, they need a large number of people to be insured, and they need healthy people to be insured.
That's
that aren't putting in claims
to stabilize the market.
Yeah, but if these healthy people are saying like, well, I'm not going to be penalized anymore, and I don't want to pay this cost, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, the premiums are going to rise. But Trump is wrong. Obamacare is still here. Has not been repealed. The mandate, yes, is going to be repealed under this new tax reform legislation.
So the rates rise.
Rates rise.
And most likely, whatever. It was only these two companies anyway. But if every company just gave everyone $1,000 bonus, that jump would be ate up in 2 months.
Yeah.
With their health insurance anyway.
Yeah. But don't worry though, Mike. Don't be alarmed. They're gonna come up with something better. You remember that's what Trump said. Damn, hold up. Is this December 2016? Because I remember Trump saying that they were gonna be coming up with something better. Yeah. But then in 2017 hit.
Repeal and replace.
And then they tried the whole 2017 and they still didn't come up with something that was better.
Repeal and replace.
They couldn't even get all
Republicans on board. They couldn't even get Republicans on board.
And see, and that might be a problem too going forward because, okay, so as we look into the new year, we know that Doug Jones in Alabama won the Senate seat, right? So there's going to be now 51 Republicans in Congress, 49 Democrats, or not in Congress, but in the Senate. Okay, so going forward, you can only stand to lose one Republican in most votes, probably. If there's going to be a majority vote, you can only stand to lose one Republican. Now,
2018.
Yeah, did I say 2017?
No. No, you're right. I was just saying.
Okay.
We got midterms coming up.
Right, in 2018. Okay, so Bob Corker's still going to be there.
Right.
Okay. Now, Susan Collins, too. Okay. Now, she's going to be important because now she has a gripe because she thought and this is going into the spending argument that we're gonna get into. But she thought that, and she thought she had an ironclad agreement with, I believe it was McConnell, and that these two bills were going to be passed and it would stabilize Obamacare premiums. Looks like that's not going to happen. Not going to happen now. It's been punted. It's not going to happen until they're not going to address it until the beginning of next year now.
And the fact that there's no more mandate, that one element, that is going to affect the stabilization of premiums.
Yep. And like I said, it's not gonna happen. And like they said, it's not. They said they're gonna address it next year, but are they really going to? We don't know. So that's we'll see about that. But anyway, probably okay. Yeah, so let's get to this interview. Okay, with Representative Chris Collins. Okay, so this Congressman Chris Collins, Republican from New York. He did an interview with Stephanie Rule on MSNBC. And the interview was laughable.
Not only was laughable, it was, I don't know what he thought he was getting into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It looked like he thought he had that body language and the mannerisms of somebody who thought that he was going to come up in there and just run circles around whoever was the host of the show.
He looked like he was regretting being on the screen with somebody that knew who they were, what they were talking about.
You could just the way his head was.
He was like, oh damn, yeah, because he was being got by her. I mean, she was coming forth with some knowledge, some facts, some details.
He got,
and he was just struggling. He was bobbing and weaving. But anyway,
she was impressive, dude.
Yeah, because she knows what she's talking about. All right, so I mean that's her area, the finance world. So anyway, it began with them talking about the carried interest, and so carried interest is still, it's still in play. It wasn't taken out in this new tax reform legislation. Now that's something that the White House has said that they want to take it out, right? Because of course, it benefits, the wealthy people. It's something that they wanted taken out, right? Crony capitalism, really. It wasn't taken out. So Stephanie Rule was asking, okay, the White House has said that they wanted it taken out many times, multiple times. It wasn't taken out. So that means that some special interest groups must be lobbying Congress, and Congress is trying to do them favors instead of the American people, right? Must be, right?
They said it was upwards of 6,000 lobbyists who, I guess, participated in writing this bill.
So, if the White House, Donald Trump, wanted it out, that means that that means that Congress wanted it in because of some reason. Some reason, not lobbyists, not special interest. No. They wanted it in. So she was asking Chris Collins, this representative, who wanted it in, how to get in, how to stay in, right? And he did not answer. He said it came through the House and Ways Committee. He's not for it. He wished it was out. But, hey, his specific quote was, can't let perfect be the enemy of good. And he says that this tax reform legislation is good. So it's going to benefit the will of the American people. It's going to benefit the regular American taxpayer. So this is something that we all should get behind. Like I said, you can't let perfect get in the way of good. But like I said, he failed to answer the question directly. Like, who's for it? Who is for it? You said you're not. But see, and that's what I can't stand, man. That's what I've always, like, for a few weeks, for months now, really, I've been saying. You get one of these congressmen to interview, right? And they always like, well, it's not me. It's not me. Like, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I know it's crony capitalism.
I didn't want this in there. Yeah. I really didn't.
Yeah. But it was somebody else.
Somebody else.
It was somebody else. See, you don't get them all together. You can't remove the curtain for you to see the whole process, right?
Like when you said, like, as soon as you said remove the curtain, you know, thinking in my head, I was thinking like the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly,
like,
man.
There's somebody behind the machine.
No doubt, man. So it's like, oh, you always get them one at a time. And they can always say it wasn't me. It happened. It happened, you know, during debate or whatever. And I objected to it. But hey, this is still good. I mean, it's full of crap, man. They're full of shit. Man.
I mean, I didn't read the bill in full.
You know they didn't. You know they didn't.
I didn't read
not before voting on it. You know that. Anyway, also they talked about how this bill really did nothing to combat the American, goods overseas, getting businesses that are American businesses that are operating overseas back across the water, you know, back into America. There's not going to be any tariff on goods made overseas or anything like that.
No, but he wants a tariff.
Yeah, he said he wants
a tariff.
He wished that got in. He wished that got in, but of course it didn't. So of course, again, same argument. Who was against it?
But I think that's kind of like to me, like that's a narrow conversation to have when you're talking about like other countries and how they exploit labor, because that's what he's talking about. Other countries that exploit labor to kind of like push cheap product on us. We're gonna, you know, I guess put a tariff on those products as some sort of penalty, right? But I'm like, wait a second, that
would discourage American businesses from, you know, engaging in those kinds of practices in different countries.
But I'm saying the conversation we're talking about, it's suggested that he's talking about non-U.S. based companies. But what about U.S. based companies that are overseas, involved in exploiting their labor market, like who? Like
nothing in this legislation does anything about it.
They're going to agree to put it. They're going to have lobbyists. They already have lobbyists writing these bills. You really think these lobbyists are going to write in a tariff? They're going to have, these companies are going to employ lobbyists to apply a tariff to their product that they want to bring over here? You really think that's going to? You really think that's going to happen? And it doesn't even address, again, like I said, like companies like Nike, who have been found guilty of using like sweatshop type labor. Right. What's going to be done about that?
So, what you're saying is that as a consequence of this tax reform legislation being passed, they're gonna, the country, us as a country, we're gonna be doing everything we can to pad the wallets of these huge corporations. but we're still going to allow them to work to the detriment of the American worker here on the mainland.
Not just not just the American worker, but like the workers in other countries, in the global market.
Yeah,
because what's the kind of the whole narrative surrounding this bill or any kind of talk about corporate taxes? It's so that these companies can compete. These companies can compete with the global market.
In the global market, right?
But wouldn't tariffs affect that goal though? Wouldn't tariffs affect their competitiveness?
It would.
So it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't go together. So you think Collins is
bullshit?
Also, he said that the bill is going to pay for itself. Chris Collins, he said that the bill is going to pay for itself. He said that now Stephanie Rule asked him a direct question. He said she asked him, are entitlements going to be affected? Are they going to go after entitlement spending? Are they going to try to cut them? Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, are they going to try to cut those? He said no, because what they need, what we need is for able-bodied Americans to go out there and find themselves a damn job. So no standard. What he said, you don't have to. There's no reason for you to be sitting on the stoop.
Yeah, it's like just basically he was saying like. I know these jobs may not be. I'm just paraphrasing. These jobs may not be adequate.
Right.
You may not want them.
They may not pay the best.
Yeah, they may not pay the best. Basically, he was saying like. There's just all these jobs available and not enough workers to fill
more
them.
Jobs than there are bodies to fill them.
But what was this question was about entitlements like Social Security. It was entitled. So why bring jobs into it? To me, it just sounds like he was using that typical Republican speak about lazy people. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was just all that. People not taking advantage of the job market is his way of calling people lazy, and to me, almost foreshadowing the justification for taking away these entitlements. You know what I'm saying? In the future,
no doubt.
But what didn't he say something about something about future?
Yeah. So again, this is along the lines of him saying that. This bill is going to pay for itself because of the massive growth in the economy that's going to be awakened, because of this bill, because of corporations being able to pay their workers more. The bill is going to pay for itself. So there's no reason for them to have to slash entitlement spending. Now, Stephanie Rule was like, look, you really don't think this is going to add to the deficit? You really don't think that's going to even add like $1 trillion to the deficit? And then I believe he talked about how he was talking about how the deductions were going to be ending for individuals. And he said that a future Congress, he has every confidence that a future Congress is going to step in and extend them. A future Congress is going to step in and extend extend the tax cuts.
A future Congress that most likely is going to have the same corporate strings attached to them.
They're going to extend the tax cuts for individuals because the tax cuts on individuals run out in 2025. The end of 2025, they'll be gone. Congress is going to step in and actually do something about that. And not only like Congress as a whole, but Republicans are going to do the right thing and extend tax cuts for individuals because it's going to pay for itself. Now, I don't believe that it's going to pay for itself. I don't believe it's going to pay for itself, right? So if it doesn't pay for itself, why the hell would they extend the tax cuts for individuals?
See, that make exactly. You can't have it both ways. You can't say it's going to pay for itself and then somehow put out there that maybe a future Congress is going to extend those tax breaks.
Yeah,
you can't. Or I guess that entitlement or that benefit. You can't do that. You can't have it both ways. Either it's going to pay for itself or it's not. You don't have to worry about. You can't worry about one. And then kind of, I guess, suggest that Congress is going to like step in later on to try to kind of help this thing along. But I thought, like you said, it paid for itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but look, it's not going to pay for itself. Okay, just get that out of. If anybody's actually thinking that this bill is actually going to pay for itself, it's absolutely, because there's so many different things that mean that it's not going to. Repealing the Obamacare mandate, that has a definite effect on what the deficit is going to be after 10 years. The slashing of the corporate rate. There's been studies done, and we've talked about this ad nauseum too, but there was a Yale study, and I believe they polled the different large corporations. I believe only 14% of the corporations said that they were actually going to reinvest in the company, pay workers more. Like, they're not going to do that. And just like we said just a few minutes ago with the different corporations that stepped up when this bill was passed and said that they're going to offer bonuses and more of a minimum wage, it's not going to be enough to really do something with the economy.
Yeah, I tell you what. No. I tell you what. If they've spent so much time and energy with this legislation, they spent so much time and energy with this legislation and this kind of overarching mandate, right? I think they can spend just as much time with an overarching mandate in regards to minimum wage as well. There should be no, like, this tax bill will cause magically corporations to do this. You know what I'm saying? If
they're leaving it in their hands.
They showed it. They're leaving it in their hands.
They're saying, "Hey, we're trusting you with paying your workers
because if
more."
they're giving some sort of minimum wage amount, or if they're boasting that they're going to raise wages, they're admitting that minimum wage hasn't kept up with inflation. They're admitting that. The fact that they're even putting it out there. So it would only be significant if the minimum wage actually went up to the level that inflation is or has been at this current date. So $15,
that's not even enough.
No.
That's not even enough.
Don't try to again, whatever, however this tax bill benefits corporations, I guarantee you whatever they're trying to give out is going to be a drop in the bucket.
But see, just like you said, though, let's say that they did everything that they already did with this tax legislation, but they also included, we're going to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Like I said, that's still not enough. If you account for the rate of inflation and productivity, it's still not enough, right? But even if they did that, at least some people would have been like, "Oh, well, damn, okay. Well, at least you're putting in force regulations on these companies, like they have to pay their workers more. You're not just leaving it in their hands to do it on an option. Like, they have the option to do it or not. You're actually enforcing it." But they didn't even do that.
They're not enforcing it.
They didn't even do that.
That's why it's empty. That's why it's empty, because they're not enforcing it.
So there was one exchange between Rule and this representative Chris Collins that was pretty funny, and we wanted to show that to you. So this is the one clip we have from that interview. Let me put it on both so you can both see it. All right, here it is.
A growing economy at 3 to 3.5% will double our economy in 20 years to $40 trillion. It's been growing at 1.5% for 8 years under Barack Obama, which is the whole reason we ended up with $10 trillion of extra debt.
It was at 3% 14 times during that period.
Excuse me?
It was at 3% at 14 different points during that period.
Well, I guess, again, we can agree to disagree, but we ended up adding $10 trillion to our nation's debt over those 8 years.
And what do you think is going to happen to our nation's debt with this tax bill? You don't think we're going to add to our debt?
Well, let's say for right now it added $1 trillion over 10 years. That's less than Obama did every year of his presidency.
You do remember that President Obama was elected at the height of the financial crisis, when we were in a housing disaster in this country.
Right, and we had the worst economic recovery following a major recession in the history of economics,
which was a steady climb for 8 years.
Well, I don't know that it does any of us any good to relitigate the deplorable 8 years of Barack Obama. All we're saying is time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yo, like, what?
See, that was one of the moments that he was regretting being on camera with somebody that knew what they were talking about. They actually have facts to pull out.
Yo, sports reference, dog. He just got mossed. He just got straight mossed.
I mean, like, did you hear the way he ended that? I mean, like that exchange. He said, "Hey, I don't think it does anybody any good to relitigate the deplorable 8 years of Barack Obama."
So by saying deplorable, he is putting a description on something he said shouldn't be relitigated. Not only
you're
relitigating.
You don't want to relitigate it, but you do want to call it deplorable.
And
okay.
Not just that, like, he brought that subject into the discussion.
Which she chimed in
responded.
And said, "You brought it up. What are you talking about?" And again, like when he brought it up, when he had to, of course he had to bring Obama's name out. He said, "Look, hey, it was growing like 1.5% for 8 years." She chimed in and said, "Hold up. It was at 3% or more, 14 different points during those 8 years. We can agree to disagree."
I'm like, no, those are straight facts.
Yes, it wasn't an opinion she was sharing. She wasn't sharing an opinion. See, this is where you're like, damn, I should have been on air with somebody else that didn't have numbers to pull out, man.
I thought I was going to just be able to use the "but Barack Obama" and get away with it.
Exactly.
I'm actually
and not be challenged.
I haven't heard a lot more of that during this tax debate.
True.
He just, I guess, trying to justify its passing is just kind of desperate to search for anything to distract, and he messed up and used it. And
then he talked about how the rate that the deficit was increasing under Obama. Rule said, "Hey, you don't think that the deficit is going to increase under this tax bill?" He said, "Well, even if it increases by $1 trillion over the next 10 years, that's still better than what Obama did." So you remember how he said that the bill would pay for itself, right? That doesn't sound like he really believes it 100%.
Yeah, because he said, well, it would still be better. So by saying that,
you're not really sure, are you?
By saying that, he is admitting that the bill is not paying for itself.
It's not. Come on, it's not gonna pay for itself. There is no way. If what we just talked about before we showed that clip about them mandating that the minimum wage be raised to $15 an hour, if they mandated that, possibly the bill could pay for itself. Possibly. I'm not even sure that actually that would happen.
We know how the bill's being paid for. We know how the bill's being paid for. We know who's paying for
it. It's not going to pay for itself. It's not going to pay for itself. In the short term, in the next few years, there will be some Americans that will see some overall better outcomes. Yeah, in the next few years, because it will be a tax cut for the middle class, for poor people. Yeah, for some people, they will receive better outcomes in the next few years. But it's not permanent. It's very temporary. And to say that we're going to just expect a future Congress to extend these cuts when we know the bill is not going to pay for itself, why would they do that? I mean, it just doesn't make sense whatsoever. So what I see coming,
the pain is coming. I can't imagine.
That's exactly where I was going to. What I see coming, man, is pain, man. That's where the pain is coming, man.
Yeah, I just feel like letting out one of those what was that, wrestler? Woo!
Oh. He just had to eat 30 for 30, I believe. Yeah.
Ric Flair. That's what I feel. Woo! That's gonna be that pain, man.
In a few years, man. Yeah. Like I said, for a few years it might be okay for some people. Not for people that are in California, not for people that are in New York, that are well, like I said, this is a nuanced conversation to have, because for the people that we're talking about with the state and local tax deduction, those are your higher tiered middle class income earners. Mm-hmm. So it's like I said, it's a very nuanced conversation. Some people will receive a benefit because of this legislation, but it's going to be short lived. So that's why there's no way I can get excited about it.
Yeah, not only is it going to be short-lived, it's going to apply to not the majority of the American people.
So that's where it is, man. So we talked about that for about an hour, man. So we're going to leave that there. Facebook, thank you for joining us. We're going to continue the rest of this program on YouTube. If you would, the link is in the description. Click that link and you'll be taken over to YouTube. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you over there. All right, so there's another big thing happening in Congress, or that will be happening in Congress, and that's spending bill. How are they going to fund the government? Are they going to come to some sort of agreement to fund the government and avoid a government shutdown? So today, the House did come to that agreement, and they voted for it to extend funding, to fund the government until I believe January 19th, I believe. Let me get the date correct here. Let me see. I think I have it here.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's January 19th. Mm-hmm. Is it? Put that thing in. Got my papers all messed up here. Oh yeah, I had it right on the paper I was looking at. Anyway, yeah, till January 19th. So it heads to the Senate, and I'm not sure. I don't believe the Senate has voted on it yet, or at least when we started this program, they hadn't voted on it yet. I don't know if they're going to vote on it tonight or not. I believe they're going to need 60 votes to do it. So they're going to have Democratic support. I don't know that they will have Democratic support. With this plan that the House has agreed to, what will be done is that it will provide some short-term relief for CHIP, Children's Health Insurance Program. But when I say short-term relief, it's going to be short-term relief. I believe they're funding it to the tune of $2.85 billion, which is nowhere near enough money to fund the program. Nowhere near enough money to make that program operational. I believe it'll make it operational for a few months maybe, but this is a program that needs about, I think, 12 to $14 billion, I believe, something like that. Mm-hmm. So like I said, this is something that's very short term. Also, what they're doing by coming to this short-term agreement is that they're kicking the can down the road on immigration, on stabilizing the ACA premiums, on defense spending, and on surveillance too. So I thought with all of that they weren't really going to come to an agreement, especially when you consider Republicans want defense spending. They want some money. Yeah, exactly. But the House Republicans, they came to this agreement. I was kind of surprised about that. I thought it was going to take not just today to get that done, but they voted for it. They must have some agreements in place. Like they must know what's coming, January 19th or by January 19th. They must feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to give some more money to the Defense Department.
I think that is probably the can that got kicked, that they're the most confident that will be resolved.
Right.
That issue will be resolved. Now the other issues.
Okay, so I said immigration, right? So of course, Trump wants a wall, right? So that's not going to be discussed. That's not in this temporary relief, this temporary plan to fund the government. But what also is not in the plan is protection for DACA individuals. It was earlier this year. It was months ago that we talked about how Donald Trump effectively ended the protection for DACA individuals.
Trying to use them as a bartering chip to get his wall.
Yes, and that's what it became to be. Now, a lot of people want a clean Dream Act. They just want a clean Dream Act because it's horrible to use these people, these 800,000 people, as some kind of leverage. I mean, These are people that only know America as their country, and you're using them to get a wall or to get whatever it is you want in some type of bill. That's what you're using. You're scaring the hell out of them, making them feel like they're not going to be protected in this country anymore because you want to get what you want.
Not only that, to me, it takes their humanity away because it suggests that they have no value here.
Yeah, I know, except as a bargaining chip.
As a bargaining chip, like they provide no value to this country, and essentially they have to prove every day that they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I believe there was 7.
If you're benefiting from deferred action, then you are doing something constructive and beneficial in your life.
And we know that they are.
Because they have to.
Yeah.
They are permitted to.
They have to.
Yes. Like, they have to, like, walk a straight line more so than I do. A citizen, more so than I do.
I know. They're checked up on.
Yes.
Anyway, but there was a group of them, 7 of them, I believe, and one ally that had got arrested because they were in some Senate office, and they were going on a hunger strike because, and they were saying they were going to stay in jail until a Clean Dream Act is passed. It doesn't look like it's going to pass. It doesn't look like it's going to pass. I believe 4 of them are still in jail right now. I believe so. It like I said, it's a ridiculous situation. It's heartless. If the Republicans are intent on actually doing something for these people, then why are you doing it? Like, why are you using it as leverage? You know, like, if you think it's so important, and by all intents and purposes that they say it is, they say that they want to do something, they want to protect these people. Trump has even said the same. But like I said, they want to do it.
At double speak,
yeah, they want to do it only if it benefits their agenda. So again, this is going to get punted to next year. Now we'll see what the Democrats do, and the Democrats in the Senate. Will they go ahead and fund the government? Will there be a government shutdown? We do not know. This is now. Earlier, we talked about Susan Collins from Maine, and we talked about her with the, with the ACA payments, the premiums, because, like I said, she believes that she had an ironclad agreement with Mitch McConnell to get. There were 2 bills that she wanted passed so that they would stabilize the premiums, so that they wouldn't keep rising and escalating. But like I said, that is being punted till at least the beginning of next year. And I guess people close to her say that she doesn't feel like she was betrayed, but there's still some, I guess, some feelings that she may not just trust what they say anymore. Like, her vote might be a little bit harder to get now. Do I really believe that? I don't know. I don't know where to go with that, because it seems like she was just believing what they had to say, even though she was one of the people that was instrumental in not having the ACA repealed. She was one of the people that said, "No, this is a bridge too far. I'm not voting for this skinny repeal, or this replacing repeal, or this the Graham and the Cassidy bill. Yeah. I'm not voting for that." So, for her to say that, for her to vote for this tax reform legislation,
while at the same time talking about she doesn't trust them.
Yeah. It feels like she would have had to feel very confident that something was actually going to be done for these Obamacare payments, for these premiums, but nothing was done. So, like I said, is she going to feel some type of way to really affect the way she goes forward on this issue? I don't know.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll have to wait how butthurt she really feels.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I have no idea how to gauge that. So we'll see.
When this January 19th.
January 9th, because that's going to be the next deadline to fund the government. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, it's on the Democrats in the Senate, I believe, to say if they're going to fund the government or not. So.
Because it's like, if the conversation is going to be about spending, then I do think that they can use I do think they should be able to use DACA as leverage, because the spending that they want to focus on is the increasing of border security, ICE agents, and detention facilities, which actually the cost of that is I can't remember the number, but it almost, I think it exceeds all the other federal agencies combined.
Again, if Republicans feel that it's important to protect DACA individuals, then a clean DREAM Act seems to be the best way to go. Why include it in the spending bill? You know what I'm saying? Like, they were already being protected. If you think it's best for going forward them to still be protected, then you're not unlike the Democrats on this position. Should be an easy fix. Should be a very easy fix. But why isn't it? Because they're using these people, 800,000 people, as bargaining chips.
And to me, it shouldn't matter what, the Republicans say Americans are going to get out of it, because that's usually how the conversation goes. We should be concerned with what these 800,000 people are going to get out of it. Yeah, and I think
that's the humane way to go.
Republicans tend to try to appeal to people's selfishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, when they leave, it'll be a relief in this way and that way for you. It'll be a relief for you in regard to jobs. Their tax burden is too much on our country. All these things that actually aren't true. So they're trying to appeal to our selfishness. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's why they can't even be loud and upfront against DACA. Like, these individuals, like, they can be like, well, we're gonna kick this down the road. We're not gonna do anything about protecting them, but they can't speak out against them because they know they're doing the right thing in the country. So, they can't even do that. So what are
you trying to say?
They're just using them as leverage, man.
But why use them as leverage? Why use them as leverage?
Well, I mean, because they're not citizens.
Yeah, but again, why is there not much of an effort, I guess, to ensure that these DACA recipients attain citizenship, especially if they're behaving themselves more so than most other Americans, and that's especially true. If they have to walk a straight and narrow line more so than citizens like me and you. Right. They have to maintain certain standards that you or I don't have to maintain to stay here. So if that's the case, then why aren't they kind of making that pathway to citizenship easier for them specifically? Because again, it's all about, to them, isn't it all about being an upstanding member of society? It is. Contributing to society. Not being a burden. And it's essentially proved that they've been proven that they are a benefit. Right. So it's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. Now, why would they not value these people? Those people. These people. Those people.
They can use them to fearmonger, right? But if they legitimize them, they don't have that right to do that anymore. Like, they don't even have any leg to stand on anymore.
But see, it's never just about the group that they're I guess not applying legitimate human rights and human characteristics, or the good human characteristics to. It's never about just the victimized group. It's the victimized and marginalized group in relation, juxtaposed to groups that they feel are more valuable. And who is that? So it's never just about them. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's racism, dog.
It is. To be clear, right?
Just go around in a circle, long big ass circle.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't even say we'll see what happens. It's not gonna happen now. It's not gonna happen now. And when it does happen, it seems like it's going to have to be a part of some larger effort. It's going to be tied to something else. That's the way they want to do it. Is it going to be tied to the wall? I don't know.
Which is going, again, if it's about spending, if it's really
about
why would you increase all that stuff? Like the wall, the ICE agents, the detention centers.
You can't put a price on American safety and security.
costs more than all the other federal law enforcement agencies combined.
Yo, man,
come on. If it's not,
you gotta protect.
Like that's right. It's an investment. It's an investment in imperialism.
That's exactly
an
right.
Investment in racism.
Yep.
An investment in identity politics. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Another big story. We talked about, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, I believe, maybe a week or two ago. We talked about how the United States, well, let me not say the United States. Let me say Donald Trump, the administration. I think that's giving it too much. It's giving it too much credibility, I believe. But Donald Trump, the current administration, went ahead and announced that they were going to be recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Now, upon that news, of course, the international community, denounced that move, that announcement. It sparked some violence in that, in Israel, in that area. Like I said, it was denounced on multiple fronts. So just recently, there was a vote by the United Nations General Assembly. There was a resolution that was calling for the U.S. to withdraw that announcement, that categorization that Jerusalem was actually the capital of Israel now. The vote ended up being 128-9 in favor of the resolution. So that's against the United States, because the resolution was for them to recall that announcement. So 128 countries said that.
What, 128 to what?
128-9.
To what?
128
I feel like
to 9. I
feel like the Dave Chappelle Lil Jon. You know what I'm saying? Skip.
Yes. 9. So 9 countries voted against this resolution, and in fact approving of the announcement that the Donald Trump administration made in announcing that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. 9 countries. Now that includes the U.S., of course. That includes Israel, of course.
They shouldn't even count.
Exactly, right?
They should be exempt.
Exactly, right? Now the other 7 countries were Micronesia, Marshall Islands, Nauru, Palau, Togo, Honduras, and Guatemala. Now, those are the 9 countries, right? Now, this is my question, right? And this is my direct question to the Donald Trump administration, because I'm not going to put this on America. Like I said, this was the Donald Trump administration decision. So I'm just asking, where your boys at, man? Where's England? Where's Canada? Where's Australia? South Korea? Saudi Arabia? Where are your boys?
Where are our allies?
That's what I'm saying. Now there were 35 countries that abstained to vote. Okay,
right.
35 countries that abstained. Now, of those 35 countries were Australia, Canada, Mexico, Poland, all U.S. allies.
But what do you make of that?
Okay,
what do you make of that? If you're abstaining from voting,
yeah,
that does kind of send a signal.
Yeah,
even if you're not voting against it, by abstaining from it, it's no different to me when people sit out during an election.
Right. They you don't have anything to do with it.
It's look, I was like, and why wouldn't they want to have anything to do with it? Why, if an ally doesn't want to have anything to do with it, that means that's kind of that's a loose statement.
I think that I've seen from the Donald Trump administration, it's looked at as well, look, they didn't want to be a part of this whole charade. But
what's the charade? That's still admitting saying that you're saying it's a charade. You might as well just say
I guess, but they're saying in favor of them though, hey, you should this is ridiculous. You should just let it go. I think that's where they're leading this conversation to go. But okay, what's interesting is that I believe Canada was going to vote with the United States, or that was expected. But Canada actually pulled their vote and they ended up abstaining. Now, was this a consequence of Donald Trump threatening countries, because before the vote was had, Donald Trump came out and actually the ambassador, the UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, she threatened too. But Donald Trump's words, he said something like, let them vote against us. We'll save a lot. We don't care. But this isn't like it used to be where they could vote against you and then you pay them hundreds of millions of dollars. We're not going to be taken advantage of any longer. So he pretty much threatened all the countries in the UN like, hey, I'm you know what, you vote against us, we might pull our money. You know what I'm saying? We're already paying a lot. We may not pay anymore. We may not be a part of this anymore. So after that, that's when Canada pulled their vote and abstained. So it's looked at like Canada didn't want to seem like they were America's bitch.
Oh, okay. So Donald Trump tried to pistol whip them.
No doubt.
He tried to pistol whip them. He tried to do a preemptive pistol whip.
No,
and it backfired. So you think if he would have just he would just left it open,
they might have had some more votes. It probably still would have passed. The resolution probably would have still passed, but yeah, some more of their allies might have came to the table and actually voted with the U.S. Now, Nikki Haley too, because before Donald Trump had said his words, Nikki Haley said, "The United States will remember this day in which it was singled out for attack in this assembly. We will remember it when we are called upon to once again make the world's largest contribution to the UN."
Wait. Singled out.
Singled out, man.
Wait. Like I'm not gonna. You can't stand up on a mountain and make proclamations and take a position. And then
an unnecessary
position, and then like if someone is against that position, you claim you're being singled out. Like you're victimized.
Why are you attacking me? Yeah, like you didn't do anything that was controversial at all. Again,
it seems like a very narcissistic position to take.
It does. But when we talked about this, when this actually happened, when Donald Trump made this announcement, it was foolish. It was haphazard. It wasn't the right move to make, because like if you can call there's no peace in that area right now. That's not peace. It's very confrontational. It's very it's a conflict still. There's no resolution. There's no two-state solution, and most would agree that that is what is needed in that area, right? So we don't even have that yet. Now, both the Palestinians and Israel say they have a claim to Jerusalem. The prime minister's residence is in West Jerusalem. Okay. Palestinians say they have claim to East Jerusalem, so they want to split it, right? And I mean, just outside looking in, looks like it. I mean, that might be, you know, a resolution that could be fair, you know, whatever. But we like there's been no substantive talks about that. We're nowhere close to a resolution. So to come preemptively and say like, hey, bam, you know, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, it's just asinine.
And it's appealing to kind of the right wing,
no doubt,
of Israel, and it's appealing to right wing over here too.
No doubt, man. Like I said, it was just. Like, why make that move, right? Like, why make that move? There was no reason to do it. It was no reason to do it. Well, I mean, there was no good reason to do it. You know, so then
to create chaos, to create chaos, and to create conflict.
So when you do that,
which is what we thrive.
That's
on.
normal. That's normal for the U.S., right? So when you do that, and the UN calls you out for it and say that, nah, that was the wrong decision, man. You need to take that back. You say that you've been singled out and victimized, and that whoever was involved in this vote, you threaten them with like, well, there might be some consequences now. We may not pay into the UN anymore.
Basically,
you're a big baby
we
now.
We were perceived as like leaders. We were perceived as like the beacon of democracy. We were perceived as like global trendsetters. But this illustration kind of, or this vote proved otherwise. And what does that say? It says, like, you know what? I think these countries, you know, think long and hard about, like, what country they want to follow the lead of. And when you don't exemplify, I guess, when you don't exemplify I guess, characteristics, I guess that would prompt countries to follow you, then what do you expect? You can't just expect other countries to go along with you unconditionally. Go along with us unconditionally.
Right, unconditionally.
Like, so they had a problem with how I guess the ethics surrounding this kind of a very haphazard declaration, this haphazard move. I guess that kind of, to me, swings, I guess momentum in favor of one side over the other. You are kind of destabilizing any kind of talks about peace. So what do you expect other countries to do, especially countries who can be affected by it too?
Well, man, see, I might have to push back on you a little bit, because I mean, you're saying that, like, the United States, like, they're supposed to be this world leader and get other, we're world leaders and getting other countries to follow and be with us. But I mean, look at these hard hitters that came to the defense of the U.S., man, like these Micronesia,
juggernauts,
Palau, Togo, Honduras, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are heavy hitters right here, man. These are
powerhouse,
world beaters, man.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, man. Making noise.
Division 1.
Oh, that's a bad look, man. 128-9, man. That's it's a bad look. It's a bad look. And look, man, like I said, it was just an irresponsible move by Donald Trump. It was just very irresponsible. And this vote shows how that opinion is spread globally.
I'm kind of pleased with the reaction.
Oh, I'm kind of pleased with myself.
I'm kind of pleased with the reaction.
Yeah, I mean, like, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Guatemala.
That is kind of ironic.
I'm not impressed.
Micronesia. That is kind of ironic, because these are the juggernauts you were talking about.
The world beaters came to the defense of the U.S., boy.
The goons came. All the goons came. You know what I'm saying? Came to our assistance right here. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa, dog. Whoa. Oh, I mean, like, you couldn't even get Canada, man. Your neighbor. Couldn't get Canada.
Yo, man.
You scared Canada off.
Yo.
You couldn't even get the other neighbor, Mexico.
I ain't got nothing to say after that, though. You can't even get the neighbor?
Oh, my goodness.
Say,
all right. Where we want to go now, man? Let's go to DeRay McKesson. All right. So DeRay McKesson, he's very well known and has been well known because of Black Lives Matter. He's been a very prominent voice for Black Lives Matter. Not to say that Black Lives Matter is like this solidified organization, really.
It's not centralized.
No, it's not a centralized.
It's more like a movement. It's a movement
that anybody can co-opt. Anybody can say Black Lives Matter. Anybody can say that, oh, now we have a chapter here in Columbia, South Carolina. Or, I mean, like, you can. It's nothing that you can just say it's mine.
It's like a political label.
It is. It's like just a label, right? So it's a movement, right? Okay. So recently, DeRay McKesson has sued. What's her name now? Janine Pirro, Judge Janine, from Fox News. He recently sued her for defamation. Now, this is in response to her being on Fox and Friends. This was on September 29th, I believe. It was on September 29th this year. Was it this year? Was it last year? It was last year. 2016. September 29th, 2016. So she was on Fox and Friends. And this whole, I guess the case this revolves around is the death of Alton Sterling. So if you remember, on July 5th, 2016, he was shot to death by police officers in Louisiana. Now, there was a protest sometime after that, and DeRay McKesson was there. He and a number of other protesters were arrested. Now later on, they were released, charges dismissed, and later on they came to some agreement, a settlement that paid, I believe it was $136,000 that they paid to 185 or 186 protesters, including DeRay McKesson. Now, after that, there was a police officer, some unnamed police officers, that filed a suit against DeRay McKesson and Black Lives Matter, an organization, because he said that he got hit in the face with a rock, and he said that DeRay McKesson had directed the violence towards police officers. Now, I believe it was on September 28th, a federal judge in Louisiana, they tossed out the officer's suit. The judge ruled that Black Lives Matter could not be brought up in this civil suit because they are not an organization. They're a movement. You can't just file a lawsuit against Black Lives Matter. They're not a central organization, you know. So anyway, also the judge said that the cop failed to explain how DeRay McKesson actually directed the violence towards the officer or towards any officer.
Cited anything.
There was no explanation whatsoever. So after that was September 28th. On September 29th, Judge Jeanine Pirro appeared on Fox and Friends. She said, and I quote, "In this particular case, DeRay McKesson, the organizer, actually was directing the violence." Okay, now this is after the judge had ruled now. Okay, this was a day after. She also said, "You've got a police officer who was injured. He was injured at the direction of DeRay McKesson. DeRay McKesson walks away with $100,000 for an organization that is amorphous. We got a problem in this country."
Oh no. I think it's very telling that she used the word violence in kind of as a description for protesting, and that's purposeful. I don't think it's just about her disagreement with Black Lives Matter and the movement and kind of what they bring up and what they seek to change. I also think her use of the word violence in regard to just protest is directly related to who is kind of the focus of Black Lives Matter, which is Black lives. So she has to attach that violence on it,
right,
to kind of legitimize her position and to kind of continue this perception of Black people in particular being violent. It's that use of the word violence is purposeful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To kind of delegitimize that movement and the people that it's supposed to represent.
So, DeRay McKesson says that because of Pirro's comments on Fox and Friends, that his safety has been endangered, and so that's why he's seeking damages at a further trial date, right? So the question here is, does this case hold water? Like, does he have a lawsuit? Does he actually have a case? Is this a legitimate case of defamation? So you kind of have to look at what has to be proved. If you're going to prove defamation actually happened, you have to establish a few different things. One, you have to establish that whatever was said was false. Two, you have to establish that the comments were published, like people actually heard the comments. Either if they were written or if they were verbalized, people actually heard them. Okay. You have to prove that you suffered some kind of injury or that you will suffer some type of injury because of it. And then you also have to establish that the comments were not unprivileged, or that the comments were not privileged. They have to be unprivileged. And that means like they weren't said when you were being deposed at a hearing or something like that, or if you were testifying in the case. Like those kind of comments are are privileged, so you can't sue because of comments you make in some kind of trial or something like that. When you take into account all those different things, me personally, I believe that he does have a case. Now, will he win? I don't know, but I do believe that he has a case. Now, I think the biggest thing will be him actually proving that he has suffered some kind of injury. Something about her comments. He has suffered some kind of harm because of that. That will probably be the hardest thing to prove.
That'll be the hardest thing to prove. I do think that, yeah. Judging from, I guess, the audience that she caters to, judging from how much of a reach she does have,
exactly,
it does have the potential, not just to kind of hurt the group. I say hurt the group, but I don't think that's going to be a really likely consequence for that particular group she caters to, because I don't think the group that she caters to really cares.
True. They already have animus towards Black Lives Matter.
They already have a predisposition against Black Lives Matter.
Right.
But I do think that situations like that happen in Charlottesville. You don't think that, a rhetoric about those type of protesters.
True.
You don't think that type of rhetoric that pushes people to run through protesters.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Has some type of
effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think commentary about those protesters influenced what happened in Charlottesville? It's hard to make that direct connection.
Yeah, I don't think it's not a straight line.
It's not a straight line. I think we can kind of just go ahead and theorize that it does, but I don't think legally we can draw a straight line.
Like the dude, this was maybe 2 years ago now. The guy, I believe it was Kansas, who was shooting up Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Now, all the talk about baby parts, them selling baby parts and this and that. Do you think that had something to do with this guy trying to gun down people at Planned Parenthood? It probably did.
Or like Tiller the Baby Killer.
True that.
With Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly, exactly. But, these Republicans didn't want to own any of that guilt.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird, though. Like, you can't even... On one side, you talk about a general issue, like a problem with the criminal justice system and law enforcement, and talking about it in general, and talking about how these institutions have to reform, talking about how our attitudes have to change, so that we deal with these institutions objectively. That's just a general conversation. You're not actually directing violence at anyone, but they are trying to promote that it is. But their side is actually directing violence at specific people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Being trained that way as well.
Exactly, being trained that way. So I like you said, I think there's a case to be made, but there's not a case to be proven.
True. Yeah. Like I said, it just seems like, like she put her foot in her mouth by trying to present these details as facts. That's where she put her foot in her mouth. Now later on, I believe, I don't know if it was on Twitter, but she had something to say about it, saying that, or I don't know if it was her actually, or Fox News. Anyway, the feeling is that she was commenting, and she was just using words that she was taking from the officer's lawsuit. But that's not the way she presented it. She wasn't saying that like the officer,
Ray McKesson directed. He directed.
She presented it as a fact to her audience, saying that DeRay McKesson, in fact, directed the violence toward this officer, and she never got hit in the face with a rock because of it.
Never explained how either.
Never explained how.
How.
And the officer never explained how either.
That's why the judge threw it out.
Exactly. As a result of his lawsuit.
So why her problem should be with the judge, right?
It should be, right?
Kind of makes you wonder why the appointment of federal judges is important.
Hold up. If she's you're funny as hell.
Oh, because you know what I'm talking
about.
I know. Okay. I think they know what I'm talking about too.
The appointment of federal judges, Matt Peterson.
Peterson,
Well, anyway, see, you took me all off, right? But anyway, Damn, you took me all out. I'm thinking about Matt Peterson now. Okay, no. Okay, so if Pirro was reading the lawsuit, right? If she was reading the words from this officer, then she would have also read in the lawsuit where he never explained how it was DeRay McKesson that actually directed the violence. She would have read that.
Because she didn't care. She didn't care, man.
But she went ahead on the program and said what she had to say anyways. I hope she's found guilty. And now Fox News says that, yeah, they're going to fight the lawsuit. And they said that her comments are protected by the First Amendment. Nah, that's not true. I mean, if this case goes nowhere, I don't even think it's going to be like, well, they're protected by the First. I don't even think that's going to be the protection. It's just going to be, I believe, just going to be like, well, he didn't prove his case of defamation. It's not going to be that her words are just automatically protected by the First Amendment. Hell no, that's not what it is, man. That's not what it is. He's gonna have to
wait a second,
succeed at proving his case or fail.
Isn't that funny? Her words are protected by the First Amendment, but not his. See, these are the type of people we dealing with right here. They have no principles. They don't carry themselves with any kind of ethics. Those things are conditional to who is the target,
no doubt,
and or who is the, I guess, who they're support of. Because this is the same judge that is Judge Pirro, Janine Pirro, or former judge. She is saying that this Mueller investigation is a coup.
Yeah, it's a coup.
It's a coup. It's the same person.
Now, see, you made reference to Matt Peterson. Now, this is several days old now, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have already seen this. Now, we're not gonna play the video clip because, like I said, it's been everywhere. But this made news everywhere. That video of him not being able to answer questions went absolutely viral. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was the worst job interview.
Oh my god!
I've done job interviews myself, hundreds of them. I've done hundreds of job interviews myself, and I tell you what, that was probably the worst job interview I have ever witnessed. I wasn't a part of that one. But I'm just saying, if that person was interviewing for a job and was giving me the same answers, I was in that position, and that person was interviewing for a job that I was, I guess, consequently or possibly going to hire them for. That would, to me,
be the worst performance.
One of the worst performances I ever seen.
And what's so interesting about it too is that he was being questioned by a fellow Republican, Senator Kennedy,
and it was like
a Republican.
And it was like yes or no answers.
Yeah, and
it's yes or no answers.
And I know, there's been I saw a little bit of debate over were these questions actually fair, like were they just gotcha questions. First of all, I don't believe that a fellow Republican would try to gotcha another Republican, somebody that your Republican president has nominated. I don't believe that they would engage in that type of game. And from the little bit that I do know of Senator Kennedy, he's not that guy. He's not to go after another Republican. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? But these questions, they were all about like evidentiary stuff that a federal judge would have to know. Now, in like layman's terms, he probably knew what, Kennedy was asking of him. But like the specific names that were given, like the specific questions he was being asked, he had no idea what they actually meant. But they were just about referencing like what evidence could be brought in, what evidence could be excluded, or what could be excluded, expert witness testimony, stuff like that. So I'm sure he has some kind of knowledge of it, but the actual name of the name of these things, he just.
But I don't remember him actually being able to answer any of the questions.
No, he didn't.
I don't remember.
He was like, oh, you know, I appreciate this questioning, this line of questioning. Like, nah, you don't. You wish that you did. You wish that you did after this line of questioning.
He wasn't even good at like bullshit.
Nah, he wasn't.
I mean, it's like he could have said something.
He was like, I don't think I could give you a really good answer for that.
I've watched every episode and I've seen every episode. I watched every season of Law and Order.
That's what I'm thinking back to.
I watch every season of Law and Order. I'm an avid watcher of Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis. I watch it all. Like he didn't even he didn't even bullshit right.
Nah, man, it was tragic, man. But see now, and I think it was just well, of course, afterwards he withdrew his name from consideration, which is just like insult to injury. Like he knew he was not. After that, it was like, man, I can't go forward. Like there's no way I'm gonna get through this hearing. There's no way, right?
He didn't want to torture himself.
No. He ain't the right man for the job, right? So of course he withdrew his name, but I believe he made the third nominee to withdraw in like a week from Donald Trump, man. The third nominee to withdraw in a week, man. So that's what I'm just asking. Now this specific guy, Matt Peterson, he's a member of the FEC, the Federal Election Committee, right? He had never tried a case or anything like that, took a deposition, anything like that. He has no experience to be a federal court judge, especially not, again, this nomination is a lifetime nomination. This guy doesn't know jack shit, okay?
And he gonna be there till he dies.
Life. Now you want him to learn on the job. That's what you want him to do.
No, that's what Trump is doing. That's what Trump is learning on the job training. Isn't that the best kind of training? On the job training. When people's lives on the line.
So Trump sees himself in Peterson. That's why he nominated him.
And don't you hire people you normally can like relate to? You see, I see a bit of you, and I see myself in you. It makes sense.
This is such ineffective leadership, and you remember, we always got to go back to Trump's campaign promise. He's gonna find the best people for the job. He knows the best people for the job. The country has been run by schmucks, people that don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to negotiate with other countries. I'm gonna fix everything. I know what to do. I know how to get the best people in. And you nominate somebody that doesn't even know how to get past their Senate confirmation hearing.
How much do you know about cars, Will?
I know a pretty good deal. I'm a pretty good deal about cars.
Like what about, let's say, like auto mechanic?
Oh yeah, no.
Like a tech.
No.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like the technical.
Oh no, not that way. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not that way.
Like how to fix cars.
No, I don't.
Transmissions. You know what I'm saying? Radiators. No. How to install like brakes. Any of that stuff. How to put in a starter.
Nope.
None
not
of
certified.
Not certified.
Nope. Have no experience in that whatsoever.
Change the fuel pump. So you're not certified in any of that stuff. You don't know how to do any of that stuff. You're not qualified. But you can run an auto mechanic shop, couldn't you?
I mean,
and you can find the best people, right?
Yeah.
You know how to find the best people, right?
Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I could own it. And find the best people.
I think you probably could find somebody to find the best people.
Yeah, I could.
But if you were in charge of assessing who was the best to be hired as an auto mechanic, how successful do you think you would be?
Oh,
what would you know? Because you wouldn't know what to look for.
No. Like you said, I would need some guidance on the issue. I would need some guidance. I would have to know. Okay, if I need a brake guy, right? Like I'm gonna need to know who's considered a good brake guy. You know, like what's the levels here? You know what I'm saying? Like what's the best? Who does the best? Like what's your reputation?
What school?
Exactly.
How'd you get certified?
I'd have to know what to look for. That couldn't just be coming from me though, because I have no experience in this industry. So I would need somebody that's guiding me on this mission.
And that's just we're talking about auto mechanics.
Auto mechanics, not a country.
Not running a country.
Not a country. No. Again, man, this is just ineffective leadership.
You need a
man.
technical knowledge base.
Yeah. It's ineffective leadership, man. So it's funny though. It's funny, but it's tragic one and the same.
I think that's the only thing that is keeping my mind out of remaining in the tragic setting. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for these like hilarious hearings, or not hearings, but kind of these hilarious confirmation, you know, hearings.
And Donald Trump is doing this to himself.
He dunking on himself.
Yes, man. Yeah,
he dunking on himself.
Well, sorry, you went to something else. You went to something else.
My bad.
But we can go to Sean Hannity. All right, because that links to Donald Trump. That does link to Donald Trump. Yeah,
directly.
Sean Hannity. Okay. If anybody's been paying attention to Sean Hannity as of late, within the last few months or so, he wants to talk a lot about this Uranium One deal as it pertains to Hillary Clinton, because he thinks that's the real Russia story. You know, he doesn't believe any of this hogwash about Donald Trump colluding with the Russians and this and that, and anybody in the administration. And he calls it nonsense. The real story is about Hillary Clinton and Uranium One, and he wants to know why people aren't talking about it. He recently put out a tweet, okay? And we have the tweet readily available for everybody. He put this out today, December 21st. And this is the tweet. And at the top, he says, "Hey, fake news at CNN and conspiracy TV at NBC News. Read and learn." Okay, so of course he put a link to an article. The article headline is Attorney General Sessions orders fresh look at Uranium One deal. So, of course, the article is about Uranium One. He wants CNN and NBC to educate themselves.
Because it's obvious that they're not spending enough time covering this kind of what I don't know what Sean Hannity would consider it, like an egregious egregious instance of corruption.
No doubt. Criminal. Of course, I mean this is the real Russia story. Okay, now we're gonna take another look at this. We're gonna take another look at this tweet now. Now it's a little bit zoomed in now.
Why you doing that, dog?
Right now. Now it's at the top. I'm gonna bring it to the bottom. I'm bringing it to the bottom now. Doing, okay. Now if you look here at the bottom, now we read the title, but it seems the source is NBCnews.com.
Wait. Nope. That's a lowercase NBC. Nope. He's off the hook.
NBCnews.com. Now, if you remember, at the top it said, "Hey, fake news at CNN and conspiracy TV at NBC News. Read and learn."
So the source from that tweet, that link story that shares from NBC.
He wants NBC News to learn from
NBC News.
NBCnews.com on Uranium One, because obviously, you know, these fake news outlets, you know, that push conspiracy theories, they're not doing their viewers justice. I mean, they're not really serving their viewers in the right way. What they should be doing is talking about Uranium One.
So wait a second. So is he saying it's if NBC is a conspiracy TV and they just posted a story on Uranium One, would that then make Uranium One
a conspiracy? Right? It would make it like fake, right?
I'm just trying to bring it
around. Like you're trying to like I'm trying
to follow his
where
logic.
Is his logic at, right? Like come on, man. How does Sean Hannity do that, man? How does he do that?
I don't know. You can't answer how, but I think you can say why he does that. Wow. He does that to distract. He has one job. He has one job and one job only, and that's to distract.
So I mean, do you
That's
think
just
it was
to take attention away from Donald Trump being inept and a failure?
But do you think that was purposeful, that he actually linked to an NBC News article while dissing NBC News and saying that they don't actually report on this issue? Like, NBC News, man, you're doing your viewers a disservice, man. Why don't you report on NBC News? Here, look at this news report from NBC News.
I just think that is only an illustration how he is. It shows he is not a journalist. He's not. I just think that is another sign that he doesn't pay attention and he doesn't care about paying attention. He is an opinionated, I guess, host on a television show, on a radio show.
He's a mouthpiece.
He's a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
He's not a journalist.
No, he, like I said, he's this administration's mouthpiece. He's a Republican mouthpiece. But this is funny. There's a headline on Mediaite.com that said Sean Hannity dunks on himself. Like, I mean, this is the ultimate, like karma kicks in immediately, right? Like, I'm a diss NBC News while promoting an NBC News story.
And if you think, I mean, if you just look, you just type in Uranium One, like almost every media outlet has covered that jump.
So to like say that, the media outlets aren't actually covering this, they did. It's just old news, because this is years ago.
It's years ago. It's actually already been investigated.
Yes, it has.
And I think they're trying to. They're hoping that people don't know that. They're making it like no one has looked into this.
Yeah, like this is a new story, man, that's being uncovered like right now. Nah, man, this is so far in the past, man, and it's already been investigated. Like, we've talked about it too. You've gone, you went in on it. This dude went in on it,
man. I just don't even feel like devoting any more time to it because I went into it so much, man.
It's just there's no reason. Like, we're about to go into 2018. I don't believe there's any reason in 2018 to ever utter the words Uranium One again. Like, I don't think so. Like, maybe, but as it pertains to like Hillary Clinton alone, like just her.
Yeah, I think again it's like they're trying to cater to people's need to hoist her up as like
the devil.
No,
the devil. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yes,
like they're trying to hoist her up on this, like she is at the top of the ladder of the most corrupt people on the planet.
Yep.
So anything that she's connected to, we only want to go after her, even though this particular Uranium One deal involves a multitude of people and a multitude of agencies. It just doesn't make logical sense to approach it this way. Notice I said to approach it this way. I didn't say it wouldn't make sense to approach it at all.
Right.
Because if you're going to deal with this Uranium One, you have to deal with it rationally and logically.
Then you're not just going to be talking about Hillary Clinton. That's why I say.
That's the point that I've been making this whole time.
That's what
you're
going
to go after something, really go after it. Don't kind of get this tunnel vision.
There's a lot of different hands in this.
Yeah, so that was my main position about it. I ain't saying she's not guilty. I'm just saying you just don't go after one person when so many hands were in it. You know what I'm saying?
We haven't even came to a determination. We haven't said that like there was nothing funny at play here. Like, we haven't said like this is all on the up and up. There was no pay to play here. We haven't said any of that. All we have said was that it is not just concerning Hillary Clinton. So going forward, there's no reason to just say Hillary Clinton as it pertains to Uranium One. There is no reason to do that. There's no reason to just bring her name up.
There's no logical reason other than kind of exploiting people's disdain for Hillary Clinton and trying to muddle and confuse their objective judgment.
And see, there we go again. We had to defend Hillary Clinton on another damn show. Thank you, Sean Hannity. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you. You know, we were going to talk about Catalonia The elections were today. I haven't seen anything, any proof of like what exactly what the outcome was. So maybe on the next show we'll have that information. I just know that the vote was taking place. I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen an outcome or anything like that.
Just keep an eye on.
Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting. The outcome is definitely gonna be interesting if the the separatists, the pro-independence party, if they actually win again. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be like, where are you gonna be then? That's what we've talked about before. You're gonna have to new elections again. I just don't know.
They're just Spain is trying to wait on some elections that like remotely are a kind of in support of not gaining independence. Catalonia gaining independence.
Like I said, we'll see what happens. I don't know if it, like I said, I don't know if there's been a result that's been announced yet. So like I said, we'll just see. Let's see if there's anything else we want to talk about. We're already past 9 o'clock. Let's talk about this real quick. In Virginia, now you remember on election night, the multitude of Democratic wins, the victories that Democrats had all across the country. In Virginia, somebody said Mike's ordeal. we'll get to that in a second. In Virginia, the House of Delegates was surprisingly up for grabs, and now it seems like either the Republicans are going to maintain their control of it, or there's going to be a tie. There's going to be some kind of like sharing leadership of the Virginia House of Delegates. So this is because, so the Democrat that was running, her name was Shelley Simmons, and it appeared that she won her race. Now it was contested, and there was a recount. That recount suggested that recount came away with that she actually won by 1 vote. She won by 1 vote. Okay. Now, after that took place, there was another contest to that ruling, because there was one ballot that was cast aside that was actually, that a judge ruled that ballot had to be counted for the Republican, whose name is David Yancey. Because on the ballot, it seemed like they couldn't show exactly what the ballot looked like, but it seems like whoever filled out the ballot, I think, tried to correct their vote. They may have voted for both people at separate times and maybe erased their vote or something like that, and then tried to make a correction saying that they wanted to vote for Yancey. Again, they didn't make that public what the ballot actually looked like, but that's what they explained it to be. So the judges decided that the vote's going to be counted, and it counted for the Republicans, so that made it a tie. So votes, like all votes count. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out there and vote. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, how often does that even happen?
Yeah, in local races, sometimes it happens. It's not common, but it happens. So so this is where we stand now. To settle this matter, they're actually going to play a game of chance. And this is actually written into Virginia state law. And it's actually written into a number of states' laws, actually. When there's a tie, they do something, and they call it, the tie is to be broken by, quote, by lot. So that means some kind of chance thing, like picking a name out of a hat. And that's exactly what's going to be happening. Their names are going to be their names are going to be placed on separate pieces of paper. They're going to be placed into separate film canisters, and then they're going to be put into a bowl. A member of the state board of elections is then going to pull out a name, and that name will win the seat. And that is how this seat is going to be decided. So if the Republican wins, then it will be, I believe, 51-49 in the House of Delegates, and the Republicans will maintain control. If not, Shelley Simmons will win, and then it will be a share of leadership in the House of Delegates in Virginia.
You know, I guess I really want to know when that was written into law. Like
I don't know, man.
Like really?
Yeah.
You would think that it would be something more, I would say, competitive. Like they would have some sort of, all right, here's like some sort of 50 question, 25 question, 20 whatever, a test.
Yeah.
And you get a certain amount of points for it. Something that's like involves some sort of merit. Like you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so like that somebody would have to actually win it.
Win it.
Not a game of chance.
Not a game of chance.
Not like, ooh, okay, you won. Like, because this is kind of serious, right?
It's kind of serious. They might just well have a like a potato sack relay race. like a tug of war. Like, I mean, that's how silly they're making this. They might well just have like a breakdance battle.
Exactly.
Pop block battle.
Who can rap the best? You know,
freestyle.
Like what's that? Like, there's a show now, Mic Drop with Method Man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, audience wins. Like, audience picks the winner. Just yell for who. Like, this is silly.
What's that show that Wayne Brady does with the line?
Whose line is it anyway?
No. The other one where you got to guess the lyrics to the song.
I don't know what. I don't know what that is.
You know
I never saw it.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
They might as well do that.
Yeah, they might as well, man.
Or
just
like,
something silly.
Whoever hits the first shot from half court. That's so dumb.
Do it something that's actually merit based. That's actually applicable to like what they're trying to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is silly. So yeah, this is gonna be decided next Wednesday. So yeah, 2 days after Christmas, they're gonna decide who actually is going to fill this seat. Is it gonna be the Democrat or the Republican? In the silliest way imaginable. It's just like, why play a game of chance? It's so stupid, but that's the way they're gonna do it, and it's a toss up, you know, Republican or the Democrat. So we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens. Like I said, you know, I mean, you brought up a good point though. Like, when was that written into law? It seems like that was written into law in like the 1700s or something. You know, like.
No, it does. That's just like, yeah, it's just like whoever can, you know, use a rifle to shoot this Coke can from 50 feet away. Yo, you won. Get out of here.
In 2017, man, this should not be standard in any type of race, man. Not just drawing a hat, man. This is too important, man. And I believe the Republicans have had control of the House of the Delegates for like 17 years or something like that. Yeah, 17 years Republicans have been in control in Virginia. So again, this is pretty important. You should probably treat it as such, but you know. Anyway, that's what we have for tonight. Yeah, we had some other stories, but you know, we can get to that another time. So yeah, we did hear some word about Mike's ordeal. I had, you know, kind of said a few things about it on the last broadcast, which was last Thursday. And you know, Mike had a situation with a, you know, police officer. I didn't say too much, but yeah, that there was some type of assault, you know, some kind of profiling or something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, because I've already retained a lawyer. Just today,
right?
And I forgot, it's the evidentiary where I forgot what the legal terminology is, where he kind of seeks the like evidence from law enforcement,
right?
Like body cam, dash cam footage. I forgot what that's called, what the legal term for that is called, but that was kind of that got started today. So basically what had happened was I just got followed, and officer approached my car in a very accusatory way. So I was like dismissive, like, man, get out, get by, you know what I'm saying? So he didn't like that too much. because I was being dismissive. First of all, he had no legal right to, you know, ask me certain questions anyway. But basically, he approached my car like I was already guilty, and you know, basically, I wasn't supposed to be around those parts. Basically, that's what it amounted to.
Yeah.
I had a suspicious-looking vehicle. I don't know. I don't know how. I didn't know cars could have expressions. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that, but I found out cars can have expressions apparently. So it ended up being a situation where I got out of the car and I didn't want to consent to a search, so he kind of like took me down to the ground. And some other stuff happened after that, but like I said, I'll probably give more details when the situation you know works itself out. When everything works itself out.
Resolution to it.
Yeah, when there's
like
a resolution, I'll kind of give more details, because like I said, it's in the process of, you know, being taken to court right now. So like my court date hasn't even come up. So, but yeah, we'll fill y'all in. Yeah. Whatever happens with that.
Like I said, man, like when you told me, man, one of the first things I said to him was, man, I'm just glad you're alive, bro. Straight up, though, because we know how these situations happen sometimes, man, and in a case of people that are unarmed and do not deserve that type of reaction from a police officer, you know, they're dead and gone, you know. So like I said, man, glad you're still here, dog. But yeah, all right, so I mean, that is that's the show. So oh yeah, and another thing we didn't mention, but there will be no call-in option. Yeah. Not tonight either. So this is the thing. I gave stupidly Skype another shot. It didn't work. It's not gonna work. It's absolutely not gonna work. So yeah, we're gonna have to seek another avenue. And I think I said before too that I kind of tested out the Zoom option, and it seems like that might work. There's some things that I got to figure out too, but it seems like it's not too controllable of an atmosphere though, because it seems like just anybody can join the join the call, but they can unmute themselves and just be heard, which is not what we want.
Yeah, no, we definitely have to have control over the environment.
Yeah, so if there's a way to do that, I'm gonna have to figure that out. So you know, we'll look at that. I saw what was that, Jeremiah? Yeah, to help with that lawyer BS, put $15 in. Yeah, that's very appreciative, Jeremiah.
Kevin asked, did they extort bond money out of you? Well, I got PR bond, which is personal recognizance, which is basically, you know, like they let you out without having to pay anything. Whatever bond they set is actually like when the trial comes, what you have to pay as a fine. If you know what I'm saying, if it comes that I am at fault or whatever, you know what I'm saying. So that's I didn't have to pay anything to get out.
So they're trusting you not to run, pretty much.
Pretty much. Which I was like, baby, out of like a set of 10 or 11 other dudes, I was like the only one to get PR bond. All them other mugs, man, they was in there for like some serious stuff. Like repeat offenders and like murder, assault, domestic violence, decent exposure, assault and battery, theft, and constant, like multiple charges. So them mugs, they either had to pay or stay. I think I was the only one out of that group that got PR bond.
Dang. What was like the environment like when you was up in there?
It's kind of funny.
Really?
It was kind of funny, man. It was just like it's actually funny and sad, but I just thought it was a coincidence that was pretty much nothing. It's kind of ironic that it's not just a lot of black people in prison or in jail, but they also have almost nothing but black people working in prison, which is interesting. They're not there because they're prisoners, but they're still there.
Yeah.
That's kind of just, I just thought that was just weird how even though they're not criminals, they're still, that's what jobs that they're relegated to. Nothing but black people working in the correctional facility. Like, I just thought that was just kind of interesting. But I was just listening to some of the conversations because usually, you know, it was just listening to just a lot of nonsense conversation. A lot of them talking about, you know, why they were in there and stuff like that. A lot of them have like extensive criminal history. But I didn't. I just kind of like kept it myself. You know what I'm saying? Lines. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of let's say there's a lot of dudes got a lot of lip in there. You know what I'm saying? They love to like kind of harass the female corrections officers.
Oh really?
Yeah, they love to do that. Yo girl, where you going? Yo, come over here, yo dog, man, look at that booty, dog, man, you think so? Like that's kind of stuff. Yo man, good man, look at that man, that booty, man. Damn, son. Like that's all. Yeah. Like, why you trying to play me, girl? You know, it's just like, okay. It's just funny, man. But
like, how far is that going to get you?
Yeah, how far is that going to get you? And of course, it's just like, I don't know, man. You know, mugs just need attention, man. That's what I see, man. Mugs just need attention, man.
Well, yeah, like I said, yeah, that'll we don't know when that'll settle itself, but yeah, I'm sure you'll provide an update when you can.
Oh no, yeah, I'm providing an update. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Because my lawyer right now is on a fact-finding mission.
No doubt, man. Success to you, though. Straight up, though. Let's see what's in here. Yeah. Somebody says, yeah, I don't get why we're still, why they're still obsessed with Hillary. She's out of the picture.
I mean, nobody's like denying that she's a deplorable character. Nobody's denying that. No. But I do think
we talked about it all the time.
I think that
when it was relevant.
And I think that I think that like for the other side of it, to always constantly get tunnel vision when talking about Trump, I think that's just as bad too. You know what I'm saying? So the other side of it is Hillary Clinton. If you're going to suffer from like Trump derangement syndrome, which exists, we have to call out, people who suffer from Hillary derangement syndrome.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember, I don't know if we ever talked about this before, but you remember I think it was a video that we had did, and we put it up on Facebook. Maybe on YouTube as well, but it was a video about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We were. It was some video, and I believe you put it together about Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It might still be posted, or it might be a pinned to the top on Facebook. But there was a comment by somebody saying that, like, kind of suggesting that we might be like Republican agents or something like that because we were critical of Hillary Clinton. And then in another post he was saying that, pretty much like saying, why are we talking about Hillary Clinton or the Wasserman Schultz when Donald Trump and the Republicans are doing all this corrupt stuff and this and that, and like you must not know what we do, because we talked about it since the election, and like since we came back, because we just came back in August, we have been talking about Donald Trump a lot, like many times, because there's been so much to talk about. It was only relevant to talk about Hillary Clinton because of the book that she wrote. So the times that she does give us reason to talk about her, okay, then we'll talk about her. But we haven't brought her up barely at all in 2017.
And the irony is, man, it was like, and then when we talked about Trump, Muggs was saying, y'all ain't talking about Hillary enough. I'm like, what?
I don't like. We're gonna talk about what's relevant, okay? Right now in 2017, I got nothing on Hillary Clinton. I got nothing.
And again, we're not saying that she ain't a deplorable character.
Exactly.
It's just like just bring her up when it's necessary.
She's back there.
She's back there. Like, don't always defer to her when somebody wants to talk about maybe Trump or Republicans or any other issue. Don't necessarily defer to her if it's relevant to bring her up because she's in the forefront of the issue. That's what's up.
Yeah,
if she's at the forefront of the issue, then that's cool.
Like
Even
her
though
book.
She's like a book. Like when she's like
put herself out
politics,
there.
she put herself out there.
Yes.
So guess what? We'll talk about it.
Yes.
But if there's some junk that's not even really connected to her, or if there's something connected to her that was from 5 years ago, like what purpose does it serve to kind of bring it back into the fold, especially when we have more pertinent issues to deal with? It's just about
more
priorities.
pertinent.
It's just priorities. That's all.
We got 2 hours on the show. Okay, we got about 2 hours to talk on the show, and we fill it up. We talk about things that are relevant. Hillary Clinton is not going to make the show. Not if she's not putting herself at the forefront of an issue. Not if it's like so hilarious that we gotta share it and gotta have some fun with it, like on the book thing that she wrote talking about Bernie. That was funny. We had fun with that. That was entertainment. We wanted to do that. But some serious stuff, like, she's not relevant. She's just not relevant. I have no reason. Like, we have no reason to talk about her, except when people just make us, you know. I mean, like, we got led there today by Sean Hannity. I didn't even know that was coming. I had no idea.
That was out of nowhere.
That was out of nowhere, man. I was just gonna leave it as the uranium one thing. Then we just got led, and we just went down that rabbit hole, and we ended up defending her once again, you know. But anyway, yeah, but, you know, she is the Resident Evil. She is the Resident Evil, man. Just like the damn game, dog. Just like the game, dog.
Resident Evil.
She's a monster, just like
That's
the game
funny.
too, man. I mean, one and the same, man. That's how people treat her. She's a monster. So,
but she ain't like the kind of like the head monster.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
The head and the only monster.
like she one of them. She one of them. She's not a major. She's not even a major role.
It's
kind of
like how for some reason George Soros has become the only billionaire that puts money into stuff. Like, I'm not saying I'm for all that, because the mug just playing his position, trying to benefit from everything left and right. But again, that's kind of what America is based on.
Yeah,
putting money into things and benefiting off of chaos and whatever it is.
How many lobbyists did you say had input on this tax reform legislation?
6,000.
And they represent who?
Well, corporations.
And the corporations are full of
billionaires. So that's what I'm saying. Like, why are Muggs acting like he's the only billionaire, to try to affect the outcomes of certain things? It's just irrational. You can still talk about him, but to just kind of focus on him as he's the sole one, that's irrational and doesn't get us anywhere. It's just irrational. That's all we're saying. Yeah, you're right. The Koch brothers. Yeah, no mention of them.
Yep.
Han Saban, I think that's his name. Ham Saban, I think that's his name.
Yeah, Sabin. I think.
Sabin.
Yeah, Haim Sabin, whatever. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Poor Jill Stein.
Oh yeah, Jill Stein. They're trying to go after her again because of this very old dinner that she was at in Russia. This took place in 2015. We're about to be in 2018. And now the Senate Intelligence Committee is trying to investigate her and trying to see if there's some connection to her and collusion with the Russians. And
they know it's a dead end road. They know exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to promote an atmosphere of suspicion to create distrust for third party candidates. Mm-hmm. That's all they're doing. It's already been investigated. Like, she has answered the question multiple times, and she has said that RT, Russia Today, the network, the channel, offered her no money, did not give her any money. She has stated that multiple times. I couldn't find the article before the broadcast today, but I remember there was an article. And it led to because I believe they did an investigation, and what they could find was that the funds that she used to go to Russia was funds, I believe, from the campaign.
either her own funds or funds from the campaign, I believe. I can't remember. But it wasn't funds from anybody in Russia. It wasn't funds from RT. It wasn't anything like that. So to draw a connection between her and possible collusion, it's not even flimsy. It's not even there. There's been nothing. The only thing that you have is that there's a picture where she's sitting at the table and Putin's at the table too.
Like, you know, I've heard people,
that's the only thing.
I've heard people make the claim that, well, you know, when the FBI does an investigation, they leave no stone unturned. You know, like when they investigate crime syndicates, you know, like anybody that comes into contact with them, they like, you know, they have a profile. No matter what capacity that they're in contact with those people. It could be like me coming into one of their front businesses, even if I think it's a legitimate business and I'll buy something, they don't care. They're going to look at me and be like, okay, let's follow him, let's get a profile of him, make sure he's not connected to them. So they don't. If you're at an event with jokers who are involved in like organized crime, like at a boxing match, they taking pictures of everybody there. So yes, the FBI doesn't, you know, when they're investigating, they leave no stone unturned. But this is not the FBI. Mueller is not doing this. This is the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Right.
So that's why.
Yeah, Mueller was not led to Jill Stein.
So this is not a legal inquiry. So that's why I know it's bullshit. Because if it was, it'd be Mueller doing it. When it's not.
We know. It's I was gonna say Senate Republicans, but Democrats are on this too because you know please, they can't stand the third party as much as the Republicans can't stand third parties, man. And Democrats will probably have more of a gripe against Jill Stein than Republicans do. So come on, man. Like if there was something there, I don't have a problem saying it. Like I really don't have a problem. We've met Jill Stein before. Yeah. Seems like a nice lady. Yeah, I mean, and we backed her presidential campaign, no doubt. Do I have any allegiances to Jill Stein? No. Not a one. Not a one. So if she does something sinister, if she does something criminal or anything like that, I have no problem saying that she was wrong or that it was criminal or just stating facts. I have no problem with that. I haven't seen anything. Nobody has made any kind of connection. It's just the Senate Intelligence Committee just saying that, hey, we're going to scare everybody and be like, you know what? She's going to be a name we're looking at, so you know what that means.
You know who else made a big deal about it? Like months ago? I'm talking about like months ago, like earlier this year? Rachel Maddow.
Oh, of course she did.
She pointed out everybody. You see this person has this connection. You see this person and said, and who is this? This is Jill Stein. I'm like, man, man, chop her in the Adam's apple, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord, please don't bring up Josh Fox.
Sorry. That was childish.
You so stupid, dog. You on that Angela, what's it, Angela Rye?
Oh yeah. What she say?
Ha! I can't even do it because that's something only chicks
She's
can
like,
do.
Ah!
Man. Yeah, chicks. I can't do it no justice, man. That's something chicks can do.
She's like, bye, man. Girl, peace, deuces, man. Yeah, we didn't get to say anything about that. Omar.
I call it Omar.
Omarosa stuff. But that was funny, man. There was a clip of Angela Rye on CNN. And she was like, yeah, you know, y'all too good to do this, but she was like, man, please, man, you ain't never been an advocate for black community or anything like that, man. Please go on, man. Please, good riddance, man.
And it's not like, I think people misinterpreting that as her taking joy in the demise of somebody, but no, it was actually, there was a lot of, I know, you know, I guess you have to like have been following Omarosa and Angela Rye, you know what I'm saying, and and whoever, there was another woman on there that's been talking about April. She's a CNN reporter, I believe. Yeah. So it's like there is a lot of context within that. There's a lot, even though it's just a sound effect. There's a lot in that because it was like she was kind of poking. I wouldn't say just poking fun at Omarosa, but it almost brought attention to how tone deaf Omarosa is, how kind of like how Omarosa doesn't really have anybody's best interest at heart but herself. So basically, it was like, you ain't about nothing. So it wasn't just your demise. I'm not poking fun at just your demise. I'm just saying, like, you ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
who you are is a fraud, pretty much.
If any, did you see that
interview
with Michael Strahan?
I saw an interview. I didn't.
Yeah. See, so okay, there was about a. It was about like a 7-8 minute interview she did with Michael Strahan, okay, and that's where she talked about, you know, there's a lot of things that she felt uncomfortable with at the White House that she saw, and things, you know, pertaining to her community. She was talking about her community and how she's gonna reveal these things. And if you saw the entire 7-minute video, so the 7-minute interview, I came away with the feeling that Omarosa is the real life Olivia Pope. Okay, the real life Olivia Pope from Scandal.
Ew.
Yes.
Ew. Ew. You know what you just suggested, right?
What?
That Donald Trump is Fitzgerald.
I ain't going there.
Okay. Woo.
But watching her respond to Michael Strahan's questions, she has an incredible gift to orchestrate her position, to kind of craft her words in a way where she kind of bounces around like the topic. You know, she doesn't really answer questions directly. She's very articulate, but she doesn't take something head on. Like I said, she has a beautiful vocabulary, but she is conniving. She is manipulative. And like I said, she has a definite way with words, but she is the real life Olivia Pope, man. She is scandalous, man. I'm telling you.
And see, that's the thing, man. I think it's she is a perfect example of what, I guess, I don't know what to call it. I call it a false sense of strength looks like.
Yeah.
She's a perfect example to me of what a false sense of strength looks like. So, like, she kind of has this bravado about her that projects strength, but how she deals with issues, to me, illustrates her inability to take things head on, which is not the characteristic of somebody. Well, it's not the actions of somebody who is strong. To me, it's like she has like the mannerisms, and she conducts herself as if she is like this strong character.
Yeah.
And like she takes everything head on. She's not afraid of anything. But like I said, if you hear her talk about issues, she spins everything. She doesn't deal with things head on. And she's manipulative, and she's selfish, self-centered, she's self-entitled, she's a narcissist. Those are all qualities of somebody who is actually weak-minded. Because when you are that weak-minded, you have to over-project strength.
You remember one of the very first stories we ever did on video? It was about Omarosa. Remember when she was on Fox News? And she said something about one of the guest breasts. Just to throw a bomb.
Yeah, blow up the conversation.
Yeah, because they were talking about something with Trump. They were kind of being a little bit critical about Trump, and I believe it was about inner cities, something like that he had said about inner cities, or his plan about inner cities, something like that. And she obviously did not like the way this was going. She wanted to talk about, she wanted to parrot her own talking points. Like she wanted to stay in a line, and she was getting off track because of these questions, because of this criticism. She said something about the woman's breast. Now the woman, it looked like she had she was large breasted, whatever. But why talk about the woman's breast? The only reason was to, like you said, throw a bomb and explode the conversation. And of course it did, because after that, the woman was like, hold up. The host actually was like, did you just talk about her boobs? And it, like I said, it just eviscerated the conversation. This is who Omarosa is, man. And on that interview, yeah, okay, so I got some words from that interview with Strahan. She said, I have seen things that made me uncomfortable, that have upset me, that have affected me deeply and emotionally, that has affected my community and my people. Man, bullshit. This is the same woman that said people are going to have to bow down to Donald Trump, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I can't remember the exact words.
Please.
She used, but it says something like, this is like a payback for all of his naysayers and his enemies and all that. And I'm like, okay. I just think that, like, I've seen interviews with her, man. It just seems like she is, again, I've seen multiple interviews with her, and
you saw her crying.
People try. No, I didn't see any crying. I saw some crocodile. I saw some crocodile eyes. I saw some very dry eye. Right, this all up in here was real dry. It was crocodile all right here. That's all I saw, and it was like I don't know. I just see her in most of the interviews I see her in. She tries to control the conversation. And like I said, if you are truly a confident person, if you are,
you would have to resort.
You don't
to
have to control
tactics,
any, especially conversations. You don't have to steer conversations in a way that constantly, I guess, steers the conversation away from all those things that make you that insecure person where you have to do all that. It's just
there ain't nothing like being right? So I mean, if you are right, if you're on the right side of things, all you have to do is let your words speak for themselves. You don't have to play these games and these tricks. You don't have to do that. You don't have to shed fake tears. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do all of that. But I got no sympathy for Omarosa, man. I got absolutely no sympathy. Whether she was actually like, the story is she was kind of like kicked out, really. Like her privileges were I guess discarded, revoked.
Remember that story where she bought like a party of 30 or 40 people up in the White House?
Yeah, man.
Trying to go in the areas where they shouldn't go, taking pictures.
Unapproved.
They had to confiscate some of the pictures.
Yeah,
she just walked up in there like, yeah, this is what I do. Like, literally, she is like, I guess you can. It's one of those things where you can't take the ratchet out of somebody, no matter how articulate they are.
And people still don't know what the hell she did.
She was like, I forgot, she was some sort of like, I forgot her official title. It was long as hell.
Liaison,
liaison, public relations.
Yeah.
For the advancement of colored people. I'm just playing.
I think this was an article from The Hill, but they just said that she was an outgoing aide to President Trump. But yeah, she worked at the Office of Public Liaison. Led communications there. I don't know what that did.
Black affairs. Sounds like a damn soap opera. I would be like, hey, it's like a damn soap opera.
I don't know what the hell she did, man.
Next on Black Affairs.
She's out after a year, man, and whether it was like contentious, like it's been reported, or if it was like her just resigning because she has other things to do. Well, I don't care, man. I just don't care about Omarosa.
She knows she's planning on writing a book. I think she's planning on writing a book too.
Of course she does, and she's going to detail the very uncomfortable things that she experienced that was negative to the black community, and she's gonna endear. Go ahead, endear yourself to the black community. See how that goes. See how that goes. Yeah. Now you want to speak up for the black community.
Their mugs are not even. They're gonna just throw her back.
Is anybody even buying that? Like, who is buying for? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. All right, man. You know what? We're gonna get out of here. Appreciate everybody that made it here. We should ask. Who's gonna be around next week? You know what I mean? I know, because I know Tuesday is the day after Christmas, and I know some people will probably have that day off. Some people will be out of town. We're trying to figure out, if it's going to be worthwhile to
do a show.
Yeah, do a show on Tuesday.
Because people have family in. Yeah. They're going to be entertaining family. Probably, they're going to have the kids to deal with because kids are out of school.
Yeah.
It's...
Oh, I know about that.
So, I mean, it's almost like it's set up to have the potential to go either way.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it could go either way depending on people's activities. But, you know, yeah, take a break unless big news happens. Man.
Mary says, I'll be here. It's
we do a short show? I don't know. Maybe we'll do a short show.
Yeah, you know, we'll I guess we'll see.
I'll make Will wear an ugly Christmas sweater.
That ain't gonna happen.
And a hat.
I don't do ugly Christmas sweaters.
I don't do Christmas. I don't do nothing. I don't do Christmas. I don't wear Christmas anything. I don't do all. I've been seeing a lot of that when I've been picking people up, man. Out at night, man.
Yeah.
Christmas sweaters, the Christmas suits, tacky Christmas suits.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I wear like Christmas morning. I wear a Santa hat, dog. A hot Santa. It's hot. I gotta take it off. Man.
So you put on the
I put on a little Santa hat.
Blanta, the black Santa.
Blanta, dog. Blanta over here, dog. Straight up. It's hot as. It's hot.
What?
It's hot though. Yeah, straight up. Wednesday. Yeah, I mean that's an option too. Wednesday, we could do it back to back. Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see. We'll kind of we'll think about it. We'll see what happens. Maybe if something's pressing on Tuesday. And like you said, maybe do an abbreviated show or something like that. We'll see.
Bring LTMB holiday special. You know how like TV shows be having holiday specials?
Yeah. I don't know what we could do for that special.
I don't know. Maybe I could act like Scrooge or something. Maybe I gotta be like in the character, you know what I'm saying? I act like Scrooge, considering this recent passage of the tax bill.
Yeah. Straight up.
Humbug.
If I'm not here Tuesday, blame Soros.
Okay, you got kidnapped. Got kidnapped by Soros. I just want my damn check. That's all.
I'm saying, right?
Like, where's our check at? Like, it's supposed to be operatives up in here. It's supposed to be all these operatives. You know what? I think it's interesting that we don't talk about that enough. Like as far as like COINTELPRO and how activist groups have been basically they've kind of subverted activist groups, how they infiltrated activist groups like for the past 70 years, right? I'm actually wondering what activist groups have been like actually infiltrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what members of certain alternative media are actually agents? Because if they did it 60 and 70 years ago, they're doing it now.
So who's working?
Yeah, because it's easy to focus on these big names like Soros is doing this and so, but you can't really have any of this stuff being done unless there's members of these agencies within the group. Now, I know the Progressive Network in South Carolina Progressive Network, the founder of that. Yeah, he was involved, like when he was coming up in his activism, this dude was his best friend. He's talking about activist season. This came up, known for like 2-3 years when it became his best friend. Found out he was an agent. That's the Progressive Network. So I've always wondered like who they are, because I know they're out there, because that's COINTELPRO, that's been around for ages. So you know, we always talk about the mainstream media, but it's actually, you know, what really kind of trying to shapes these movements has to happen on a lower level. You know what I mean?
Well, it ain't us, because I ain't got no funds.
I'm like,
it damn sure ain't us.
Because a lot of, you know, I know there's a lot of people I know. I'm not gonna name them. There's a lot of people I know who've been accused of taking money from George Soros, and they always be like, "Yo, where my check at?" So that's what I like to say, like, "Where my check at?" I love to say, "Where my
Straight
check
up,
at?"
man.
I'm
Yo,
like,
I always say, man, look, if we really wanted to capitalize on making money and on this political, just on the political game, just what we can offer to political discourse, right?
we can become like a Tommy Loren. Oh, my bad. Damn, I said that name.
You said it, dog. You said it. Man, we should, there's no reason for us not to be on Fox News, man. There would be no reason for us to be on Fox News, man.
What are the two chicks that were doggone...
Diamond and Silk.
Sound like some strippers, dog. Dominance. That's just,
man.
I mean, I'm sorry. See, they just might as well have been named like Shanika and Rashika.
Yeah,
might as well.
I know, right?
Like
Dominant Silk, man.
No, two black dudes with dreads. We would push
conservative black dudes with dreads.
What's that dude? That black dude on Fox, Payne? We would push him right off.
Right off, man. We've become hits, man. Look at these two black dudes with dreads. Republicans, conservatives.
Conservative values. And they hate Obama. And we're not saying they hate black people, but
see, listen to them. See, they're black. They know what's going on. man, come on, man. We could get paid easily, man. All we gotta do is just sell out, man.
Oh Lord, J. Scott, you stupid. No more happy holidays. Everything's Merry Christmas now. That Muslim Obama's gone. I like how you spell Muslim wrong too. Muslim. I don't know that was on purpose, but it's funny. Muslim. Remember what was that? Hank Williams Jr.
Oh yeah.
Obama on Fox News. That shit was so funny.
He back on ESPN now.
Yeah, he back on ESPN now.
I guess it's been long enough. Obama ain't in office no more either.
Yeah, see, so now so they know he ain't gonna act up. He ain't gonna act up. Yeah. So whatever. I wasn't been out of shape enough to say that he should have been taken out. I just wasn't been out of shape enough. It was just dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Just so
it wasn't even on the network either.
Yeah, it wasn't even on the network. I just didn't agree with I guess ESPN wanted to distance himself. So as a corporation, I can't disagree with what they did.
True, but like to me, like I wouldn't have been calling for his like resignation or calling for them to fire.
I was like, I don't want to watch Monday Night Football anymore because I don't want to hear that song. I was like, I don't really care.
That wouldn't have been me. Nah, a lot of times like it has to be something very egregious for me to be like, all right, that mug needs to go straight.
Like that mug said, I want to like pistol whip Obama with my penis.
Yeah,
and then strangle Michelle Obama.
Yeah, all right, you need to go straight up. Like that's the time. Like, you gotta get out of here straight up, man. You can't offer no positions no more. Nah. But yeah, that's all we got, man. I think I was about to say something. Oh yeah. It's December 21st, right? The election, that Alabama Senate election, was last Tuesday, right? It was last Tuesday.
Yeah. It was last Tuesday.
No.
It was Tuesday because we were covering at the time. We were.
That's right. It was last Tuesday, right? Yeah.
We were like giving real time coverage of the numbers coming in.
Roy Moore still has not conceded. He still hasn't conceded, man.
Because God is on his side. You don't concede when God is on your side.
He actually, I think it was on Facebook. He actually posted some articles, and. Well, it might have been one article, but it was from World Net Daily.
Oh Lord,
which is like, come on, man. World Net Daily. Like if you go on there and you just read some of the articles,
you know what they're about.
Straight up, it's come on, man, it's absurd. To say they're conspiracy theorists is probably not even doing it enough. Like but anyway, he pointed to an article on World Net Daily, I believe. Is it World News Daily?
It's World Net. No,
World Net Daily, yeah. And it's blaming the loss on Muslims and Marxist groups.
Typical. That's typical go-to.
It also blamed the loss on Democrats who got black people registered to vote.
Yeah, I saw a video where they think it's some sort of like gotcha. There was people celebrating from people who came out of state to help people vote in Canvas. And they were saying, see, voter fraud, out of state people voting. I was like, no, these people, these Democrats who come to help Canvas and promote voting, which happens all the time on both sides.
Yeah, and all over the country. In every state. It always happens. Yeah, especially in high profile campaigns.
Yeah, exactly.
Which this one was.
Thank you, Mary. We thank you. Y'all make us feel better too.
True that, man. Like I said, yeah, we can't stand missing a broadcast, man, because then we're behind the news. You know, we got to catch up, and sometimes we can't talk about something because it's not even relevant anymore. We got to get to something else. So, you know, we hate to miss them, but glad everybody is here with us and was able to be with us today. Next broadcast, like I said, we're going to try to make it so that you can call in, and hopefully Zoom is the option because it's definitely not going to be Skype. I'm requesting that refund. They better give us that money back for 3 months.
For real. Because if they not supporting the application, why they charging, bro?
Straight up. Jay Work said I'll probably be around, but can't say for sure. All right. Like I said, we'll discuss it. We'll see, and we'll let you know too. We'll let you know what we're gonna do, if we're gonna do it on Tuesday or Wednesday, or if we're just gonna do it on Thursday. Whatever the case. We'll let everybody know on YouTube and on Facebook. We'll make sure to do that. So, but this is the last broadcast before Christmas, though. So everybody. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Safe holidays. Watch out for these jokers out here. There's a lot of people traveling.
That's right.
Whether it be by car, by plane, train, bus. Plane, train, and automobiles.
If you have not done your shopping, let's see, it's 10 o'clock right now, Eastern time. Tomorrow's Friday. You might, Friday gonna be,
Friday and Saturday is gonna be thick.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday is gonna be thick. You know that.
But it's gonna be better than Sunday probably, because Sunday is shortened times.
So it's gonna be like a real. It's gonna be
some mad dash.
Yeah. It's gonna consolidate the crowds a bit because stores are probably gonna close early, not just because it's Eve, because it's Sunday too.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying.
There's some people who probably gonna skip out of church a little early.
Yeah, try to get that last present.
Sorry, Pastor. Gotta go.
So yeah, man, don't get, if you can. I hope everybody is done with this. I know I'm pretty sure I'm done. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done. Anyway, everybody have a good one. Have a good weekend. Have a good Christmas. And we out. I'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.